And that was like a 4-line of code change they could have done in 2016, right?
100%. There's I can point to 3 more of these.
Wait, that's free, right? That's free, right? You don't. That's not a. I unironically now have to ask you if that's a fucking feature that I have to pay for
Zing!
or not.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 200 of the Pogcast. And boy, is it a doozy. The show where we talk about all the cool things. I forget the intro, video games, music, content creation. I'm Jesse.
And I am in the dark. I literally have managed to make it this far into the...
No way.
To make it, it's 6:41 p.m.
No.
And I have no idea what's going on with Tarkov.
Really?
I have no... I mean, like, some people have said something about, EOD or what...
Okay.
Apparently they've done something, and I literally put up a pinned message in my chat being like, nobody talk about it. I've saved my reaction, my genuine reaction. I've saved for this moment.
Wow. Well, dude, I mean, here's the deal. Here's the plan, chat. We missed last week's episode. We were going to talk about some Tarkov stuff. Then, for tonight's episode, we were going to talk about a bunch of Gray Zone stuff because we did the playtest. But all of that is getting pushed. We're going to talk about Gray Zone tonight because we're not going to spend 2 hours on this. I would literally implode. But we have to start right off the dome with what happened today. Yesterday.
My pulse. Yeah. It's like 1:30 right now.
Yeah.
I'm more excited for this than I was my last Disney trip.
Okay. Let me get on my tabs. I mean, like, holy shnikes. Okay. So, BSG tweeted, they hit us last night. Last day of Gray Zone. I pulled a 13-hour Gray Zone stream last night, and I was like, man, we're about to hop back into Tarkov. Tomorrow. All right, let's do it. Let's get ready. Then they hit us with the tweet yesterday. Tomorrow, patch 14.6 will be installed. The game will be down for 6 hours. So I was like, dude.
Wipe?
Like, let's go. Yeah, right? Wipe. I was like, this is going to be sick. First day back on Tarkov, a whole week off. And boy, does the absence really make the heart grow fonder. I was like, I'm excited to play Tarkov tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean? Because like playing Gray Zone a lot kind of reminds you what Tarkov does well.
You got to cleanse your palate
100%.
In between swigs.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, dude, let's go. Wake up this morning, patch being deployed. We got a trailer for the new edition of the game. Now, on Pestely's interview, we knew that they took away EOD. And in the Nikita interview Pestely did, Nikita said there's going to be a new edition eventually, and it's going to be better than EOD. And we didn't really know what that meant. Well, now we know. Okay. The Unheard edition. That's what it's called. The Unheard edition. Okay.
Well, the moment you tell me it's no longer Unheard.
It's very cultist themed. They did a trailer for it. Very culty inspired. Okay. Let me tell you what you get. In the patch notes, the Unheard edition is now available for purchase on the website. Access to PvE co-op mode with persistent progression. Progression will not be reset upon wipes. So, this is...
Should I pull up the patch notes?
No, because I don't want to spoil.
Oh, okay.
This is single-player Tarkov. Like, it's... What this is, the Unheard edition, it comes with a complete copy and paste of the game with no other bad PMCs. There's AI PMCs. You can play it with your friends. They literally said in the trailer, you can get Kappa in the PvE only servers. This is single player Tarkov. This is SP Tarkov. Folded into the game. Co-op, you can play it with your friends, and that character never wipes. Now, everybody in chat especially, hold on, because he doesn't have the full picture yet. I just need to start there with that's what that is.
Yeah, let's ignore chat.
Yeah. They just single-player Tarkov, boom. They add it into this edition of the game. Enhanced stash size, so it's 4 lines longer than EOD. Increase the starting level of character skills. They expanded the PMC pockets. So your pockets are now a scav vest. You have a 1, a 1x2, a 1x2, and a 1. Those are your pockets.
So far, these are all big dubs. I'm excited to go back and play Tarkov, boys. Let's go. Tell me all about it.
Additional resources, unique in-game ID, unique radio electronic item called Mark of the Unheard. We were like, what? In-game armband, increased mail retention time. Your insurance lasts longer. Okay. More slots on the flea market. So you start with being able to sell more things on the flea market. You start with increased fence rep. Free access to all subsequent DLCs. And access to the ETS. Now, for some further clarification, because this is important, some of the additional gear you get include starting with the Gamma container, a weapons case, a Lucky Scav junk box, an ammo case, fully decked out MP7, fully decked out Scar, fully decked out SR25, M80. You start with 1 million rubles and a bunch of stuff. The skills that are, so attention, hideout management, weapon maintenance, bolt action rifles, and pistols are start at level 3 skills, which is important because bolt actions, or no, because that's snipers. Like, I think attention, you need something for the hideout or something. And so you like start with it ahead. I'm just ready to see your face when I read this to you. Unique radio electronic item, Mark of the Unheard. This item is equipped in the special slot. This item gives a 50% discount when using cash services in raid. BTR cars. Insured equipment returns 30% faster. So if you have this edition of the game, your insurance returns faster and it stays in your insurance for longer. With over 6 fence rep, scavs won't shoot first at ranges of over 60 meters away. Also,
so I can't tell like which of these things is going to be like the bomb.
I know.
We're not there yet,
here's
right?
The deal. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. As a fair warning to you, I'm glad you haven't, like, I'm spoiling all this for you, but also I've had hours and hours to process it. So so just kind of start to marinate, and I'll give you my feelings and the general community feelings, and then we'll engage. You know what I mean? Because
I legitimately, I feel
you're gonna get crucified if you say the wrong thing. I'm just kidding.
Well,
there's a few more things.
I have I just want to tell you before you go further, I have a vibe. Okay. Yeah. Today has been really bizarre. You know, I have like this reputation that I'm always like, I gotta be right, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
I've had like 150 people come in the last few hours, been like, everything I thought about you was wrong. You've been right all along. You've been vindicated, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what about. Okay. And I almost feel it's making me feel not good.
Yeah.
Because I have.
That is not good. That's not a good framing. Yeah, I should nip that in the bud. That's not a good framing. Here's the deal. Here's what's happening.
Before you say that,
this is good.
I'm like, everything noteworthy that I've said has happened already.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been vindicated on so many important things, and there's like nothing left.
No,
so I almost feel like they're maybe miscategorizing something. I just don't know.
They are. That's definitely a misframing. You've been critical of BSG for these reasons. A lot of people think any criticism of BSG is an assumption that they're like money hungry shills that hate their players,
Uh-huh.
which is what this appears to be. So they go, you were right all along. You never said they were money hungry shills that hate their players. But if they're acting this way, people that think you thought that way are like, oh my God, you were right all along. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing. If I was evil,
you would be like, I
could
was
just
right
embrace
all along.
that.
Yeah.
I could just embrace that
Yeah.
and totally play that, like, because
I was right all along.
it's so easy on the internet. No one's gonna fucking go back and find clips. No one's gonna go back and look through 200 fucking episodes. Like 500 hours of fucking podcasts to know. So like, it would be trivial for me to be like, yeah, I said that all along. But again, I don't even know. Again, I've just gotten a vibe. I'm like,
yeah, you're like, something's not right here.
All of these people coming in and saying you've been right all along. Oh my God. In the numbers that they are, it makes me think I must have been wrong about something.
Honestly, that's fair. Okay. Last few items. Because this is a layered cake here. This is a layered cake.
Shit cake.
A layered shit cake. So that's what you get with the unheard version of the game. At the bottom, it said, these two features will be available with future updates. One, a unique zone in the hideout to build that you're only going to be able to build with this, but they didn't say what it is, but like a unique zone. It's not the game yet. Second thing, okay? A unique item only for the Unheard account, okay? The distress signal device. When the item is activated, it produces a bright flash as well as a loud signal. Once activated, I'm so excited to read this to you. All players on your friends list will receive a notification that they can join your raid to help you. What?
Is there more information?
That's it, bro.
Do you like spawn in at a random spawn? Do you teleport to like next to them?
That's like, it's like all of your friends that have the ray gun can perform heart transplant on you. Like it begs so many questions. I'm like, wait, what? You were planning that? How does that work? Is that only available for these people? Is that in the offline or is it in the online? But that's all the information we got. Okay, but once again, layered shit cake here. So the unheard account, okay? All that stuff. It is 250 United States dollars. It is a $100 upgrade from the Edge of Darkness edition.
Mm-hmm.
Important note here, you do not get Arena with this account like you did with the Edge of Darkness edition. Okay?
Well, yeah, because if you can afford the game for $250, then you'll just buy Arena.
Ding 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 ding.
Why give it to you and
yes,
you could just double dip?
Okay. You do not get Arena. It is $250. It is a $100 upgrade. So let me break down a lot of like what I see wrong with this. There's a lot of conversations to be had.
Okay, wait, I have to ask, is that it?
That's it. That's what's
my initial reaction is really.
I know. But like I said, hold. That was my initial reaction too. It was like, my initial reaction was like, okay, like I just won't buy it. Like it's not that big of a deal. Don't buy it. Here's what's going on. I'm going to break down the more I played and the more we talked with chat and the more we vibed. Here's like some of the situations here. One. So a big argument here is like a huge argument that's going on is like pay to win. Is this pay to win? Is it pay to win? Is it pay to win? Is it pay to win? I want to say two things. One, I think it is. And two, that's the wrong conversation to be having. I think a lot of people are like splitting hairs, like getting down to semantics on like pay to win this, pay to win that. Like my take on this is I think it's enough pay to win to call it pay to win. And we can talk about that later. But the more important thing is that it's scummy. That's the like, it's shitty. You know, like that, like Star Citizen is pay to win and I play it. And I'm like proud to say, like, I'm like, whatever, I play it, whatever. But that's clearly pay to win. It's like, this is, and here's why. Let me break it down.
Can I say real quick?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Just to get it out of the way, because the things that people had said that like kind of half were spoiling without, I was under the impression that what the news was that they sold it to another company and they were stopping development and they were done.
Yeah, of course.
That's what multiple people literally said, like, they're selling Tarkov, and I was like, don't want to look. So I thought
you absolutely got like not debated isn't the right word, but the like you got the like I was
thousands of people being like, oh my god, the biggest thing ever is happening. I was all the way up here.
I was at the epicenter of what happened, and you got like the ripple. You know, and in a game of telephone, the last guy to go is the least reliable guy, right? So that's what happened is like, you probably heard all day, like Tarkov is dead, it's over, they're selling the company, like that kind of stuff, which is, you got the last guy in the game of telephone. But that was the Unheard edition of the game. And so I've been thinking about this all day long, right? So here's like, the breakdown of a few things. One, the PvE mode thing is crazy for a few reasons. One, it has been one of the most requested things in the game forever. Like, I don't care about a co-op PvE mode, right? Like, I will never play that. And I never really wanted to play SP Tarkov. But for 6 years now, it's been constantly talked about. People always talking about SP Tarkov. Thousands of people playing. I see YouTube videos all the time with 50,000 views when SP Tarkov gets an update. I've seen all like, realism mod, this mod for SP Tarkov. BSG has like DMCA'd people that have talked about single player Tarkov. It's been something the community's wanted for a really long time. There is of course people are combing through the catacombs, right? But like, people are finding forum posts from BSG crew, like when asked about a single player version of the game, saying like, this has been brought up to the team many times. We are adamant. We will never add a single player version of our game. It doesn't fit our vision, whatever. All of that stuff, they said all that. It's been one of the most requested things, and they add it to the $250 version of the game. When it's like, if you don't care and you want to go play SP Tarkov, it's been free forever. People have been wanting it. Gray Zone has a PvE only mode, stock standard with the game. So to put that behind a $250 paywall is crazy. And I think there's a really good argument to be made that should be considered DLC that's included in EOD. Because like, Arena was included in EOD as DLC. It didn't say in 2016 that it didn't say in 2016 Edge of Darkness was going to come with all future DL content, and then a second one was like Arena. That was like, when Nikita announced that, I'm pretty sure EOD players were going to get Arena for free. He said it was like, EOD players are getting all future downloadable content for free, so they're going to get Arena for free. Mm-hmm. So to do that, to set that precedent with Arena, and then place this highly sought after feature at the $250 paywall that you have to spend an additional $100 if you have EOD. Also, after they've recently redone all of the back end of their website for these like modules. Like, you know how if you have a standard edition, you can buy the co-op. Remember we talked about how lame that was, but you can buy the co-op for like $30.
Yep.
And you can buy this stash space for $30. They like the fact that they didn't put this as free with everyone EOD and make that like a $25 upgrade package is insane. to me. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Let me real quick, because there's already people like with their brains fucking coming out of their asses.
Yeah.
My reaction is the reaction of somebody who, imagine you had like a fucking drug addict ex-girlfriend with an abusive relationship. She slashed your tires and like stabbed your sister and whatever, right? Like, and you've moved on, and then you just heard that she just stole an ambulance. It's like, yeah, it doesn't fucking surprise me.
Yeah.
So like my reaction isn't
condoning it.
Isn't that like, I don't think that this is like a big deal. It's just like, you know, if your house burns down and then you get hit by a car and then like the 19th thing happens that day, you're like, cool, bring it on, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of just that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I feel you. You've been out of it for so long that you're like, yeah, this doesn't surprise me at all. But okay, so that's a big thing right there. That is like a double whammy. The PvE thing is a double whammy on. It's a super shitty thing to do, in my opinion, to gatekeep. So not to say that the PvE only servers won't like cost them money in like development time.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I mean? Like maybe, yeah, they should get paid for that time. But to me, it's a super shitty thing to do. Two things. It's super shitty to gate one of the most requested features that other games have for free, that people have wanted for so long, behind a $250 edition of the game, when you could have probably made more money by just selling it as a $25 add-on or whatever. And then secondly, it's a super shitty thing to say that you get all future content and then not provide it.
Well, I mean, that's the crux of it, right? Like the argument that like it costs money, therefore it's not unreasonable to charge is that is a valid line of reasoning, except when you can't post hoc rationalize
Tony Hawk
after the fact when nice downhill jam. This has been a downhill jam.
Well, can't post hoc rationalize
that like it costs money and resources, therefore it's not crazy for them to charge. When you've made the decision to say, I am giving you for this already inflated price,
yes,
you are getting effectively all of the future work and resources that I'm going to invest in this as a part of this.
Yes.
And then later on, when it's been long enough that you have forgotten that that's what you agreed to, say, oh, well, we're going to do all this stuff. You're not going to pay for it. Now, you also have to think. I'm trying to be like as like reasoned as I can. Where do we draw the line? Like let's say, I think it's easy for us to accept, to agree, maybe not, but would we agree that Tarkov 2 wouldn't be wouldn't be DLC?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's like, that's a different thing.
For sure.
So now at the same time, God, this is fucking complicated, because here's the thing. If they had done Arena and they had not given, if they hadn't given Arena as a part of EOD, I actually don't think it would be as bad.
That's what I'm saying. They never there are people saying it's an addition of the game. It's not DLC, bro. Like, they have every right to do this. But like, what we're talking about here are arbitrary terms. Like, I have to download content, an additional like patch to the game in order to access this PvE only mode. So if you want to go semantics, it's downloadable content. The flip side is if you say,
but that's a lame
argument. But I'm saying that's a lame argument, just like saying it's an edition of the game. Because here's the thing. They could just say, here's the new freaking Herd of Darkness edition that includes suburbs. And you don't get it if you're like, they could just put another map on another edition and say, well, it's an addition. It's not DLC. Like what we're talking about here is they can do whatever they want and call it whatever they want. And for you to defend that, not you, but like the people who are like, it's just an addition to the game, man. It's like you give them permission to say anything they do. They can just say, well, this is a different edition of the game. If you want suburbs and town, that's on the poo-poo edition of the game. That's $9.99. And so that I just don't subscribe to that argument of like, well, they said, because they ended up doubling down after like 6 hours of the community rioting. They tweeted out, they were like, the PvE only mode is a unique feature of the Unheard, and it will only be available there, or something like that. Like they were like, it's a unique feature.
Jesus Christ.
So they doubled down. They were like, it's not DLC, it's a unique feature. But once again, this gets it's not clean because 6 months ago you gave us a whole goddamn new video game. As DLC.
So the pressure I'm feeling right now.
Yeah,
I need to get this out before chat. Me and Jesse are going back and forth. Okay, so I was able to get out like 30% of what I was thinking, and I'm frantically typing so that I don't forget. And I already know people heard what I said before I got to like premise 2 and 3 and assumed what I meant.
For sure.
And then we're freaking out in the interim time while I'm like letting Jesse talk.
Yeah.
So I wasn't trying. I'm not trying to say that. Oh God, I'm so stressed right now because Chad is freaking the fuck out.
I know, dude. You better put throwback on emote only.
And it's like we're just trying. Me and Jesse are having a conversation live right here, back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's so all of the nuance and everything is so deep, and everybody makes up their fucking mind, and you guys make your decisions, and you get so fucking emotional 2 seconds after something is said, without doing what I'm trying to do, which is take a step back.
Welcome to my 8-hour stream this morning, brother.
So a bunch of people in chat made a bunch of points that I completely agree with, and there's some information that I don't know. I don't have context. People are talking about all kinds of stuff. So there's so many aspects of this.
There is.
Arena. Again, this is weird because Arena is like almost like Tarkov 2, where I wouldn't have expected it to have been.
Me either.
Separate from Nikita saying that it was going to be included, which I remember not long ago, I thought there was a 0% chance we'd ever get Arena. Remember that? It was like, what? Arena? Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have expected that they included Arena with EOD.
Yeah.
But I would expect, just like I would expect co-op mode, offline features, different settings to be a part of Tarkov.
Yes.
A single player mode to me is there's play and then there's a multiplayer button.
Yeah.
It's the same game. I don't want to get semantic. I wouldn't call it an expansion. I wouldn't call it DLC. I would call it a fucking game mode.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think most people agree with you that like it should just be part of the game. If you, not you, Veritas, if you, BSG, are going to make an argument it shouldn't just be part of the game, it should at least be a part of EOD. And then if you say it shouldn't, you should at least sell it on the website as its own module, and you're not. So like that, and that's exactly what I'm trying to get to, because you're so right. It's nuanced and it's complicated and it's everywhere, but I think But that explains some of the visceral reaction, because I think we all agree with you. It should be just part of the game, but it's not. And if it's not, it should be EOD. And if it's not, you should just at least sell it to us for $10. It being behind a $250 paywall is like the 1 millionth thing on the list of where it should be. And that's kind of where we're at. Is like, I agree with you on all those things. It's crazy that where we ended up is it being behind a $250 paywall. You know what I mean?
God, dude, all of these weird things. This whole time, there's so many different angles and perspectives to look at this from, right? Because now I'm just thinking about 2-3 years ago when everybody was freaking out about, why are you adding content and not fixing this? Why are you? There was always the conversations around resources and conversations around engineers working on this. They should be working on that, and prioritization. And what just came to mind was the fact that like the amount of resources that has gone into Arena and the single player version basically behind our backs without us knowing this whole time.
Yeah.
And it's not that they had to tell us, but in the context of there's been so much discussion and frustration over why isn't this stuff happening at this pace, and the amount of debates and arguments that have been had over what we should expect and whatever. Yeah. And that has to be a significant amount of resources that have been working on two things that they might be awesome, but at the same time, nobody really asked for, while at the same time begging for the thing they paid for to be better. Yes. But they were working on something else that they thought that you could argue that they paid for. Yeah. And then you have to pay for it.
Yes. Yes.
So let me summarize what I just said, because
say that again.
I came around to that at the end, and I feel like that was
I'm tracking though. Yeah.
And I'm manufacturing this in real time, right? Yeah. So while people have been frustrated with the problems and lack of resources and fixes and development and features and whatever progress made in Tarkov, while all that has happened, we've been playing the game that we paid a lot of money for. Yeah. Also with the understanding that, EOD, we would get access to future DLC with that having a big asterisk saying we don't know what the DLC is necessarily going to be, whatever, right? While that was all happening, they were working on other directly related products. Yes. That they then are not going to give us as a part of the thing we paid for. Yes. That they are then basically charging us extra for, like a la carte meal. Yes. And the actual experience that we paid for, which might actually be the worst part of it, is that you could probably argue that the experience that we paid for in Tarkov has suffered because of all this stuff. So it's a double whammy. You could make that, the game is worse, and there's all these things that you're charging us for.
Sucks. It'd be one thing if like Arena was good, but it's not. That's a good point, and that's a good point I hadn't arrived at, and so I'm glad we had this conversation, because that is a good point. It's a nuanced thing, it's a complicated thing. While the game was suffering, they used funds from the game to do other projects that, in a lot of cases, especially if you didn't have EOD, you had to then buy Arena, and then they're putting back some of the cool things we have asked for in this game as additional purchases or upgrades. And that circle feels really bad. So we're just on the first line here, the PvE mode. So this is literally just one piece of it, okay? The PvE mode feels bad on its own for a bunch of reasons. It should be in the game for free, and at a bare minimum should be in the game for EOD users, and it should be able to be purchasable, but it's a $100 upgrade if you have EOD. It's a $250 feature if you don't have the game yet. That's shitty. And everybody agrees. Additionally, random thing. This is a random thing. I just it's kind of like breaking because people just figured it out. I don't have it on my notes, so I want to say it. People used the Wayback Machine this morning. Like, if you go to your profile and it lists what it lists what stuff
features
you have. Yeah. This morning they changed on the website. It said unique secure container gamma 3x3. And now it just says secure container. Because that was the thing too. They said at the beginning, the only way to get the Gamma container was to buy EOD. But now they put it in this. And they removed, like this morning, they removed the word unique. Now it just says secure container 3x3.
Dude, why didn't they just like give you the fucking
the Schmamma container, and it could have just been purple.
The crepe salon, make it a 3x4 or a 3x4 with one extra slot or whatever. And see, like, if they were to give you something slightly better than a Gamma and not have changed EOD, then it would have been less bad.
It would have been less bad if the container was better.
They're so clueless, dude.
It would have been less bad, dude.
How are they this bad?
I don't know. If it had one additional slot, one little nubbin off the side, and it was the Schmamma container, it would have been less bad than giving the container that they said the only way to get this container ever in all time was to buy EOD, and then they changed that, and then they changed the website to say it's not what you have isn't unique anymore. It's crazy, dude.
Bro. I'm literally okay. There's this buffet down the road for me that has been closed down for a while. It was one of my favorite places ever. Imagine you go to a buffet, okay? You pay $15 to get into the buffet. You're like, sick, cool. You go and scoop like the fried rice, and it's like cold. You go to scoop the General Tso's chicken, and it's like, okay, you know, you get some fucking pizza or whatever because it's a buffet, right? Yep. You get the pizza.
Of course, you always get
pizza
at the buffet.
Pizza's like mediocre, but you know it's pizza, so how bad can it be? Whatever. You go to the drink machine and the drink machine's broken, and you're like, fuck, I'm really thirsty, right? And you're trying to like get a drink the whole time there's like a bunch of people sitting there working on the drink machine. Sorry, actually no, there's nobody working on the drink machine because the drink machine's broken, but they don't have any techs, right?
Yeah.
You go the whole time, 3 years you're at this buffet, 5 years you're at this buffet wanting your fucking Coke Zero or whatever, and you can't get your drink, so you're thirsty, and you're like, whatever, fine, I'm fucking over it, I'll never drink anything. At least I'll go to get some dessert. They just wheeled out the ice cream cart, and I'm like, cool, that actually sounds interesting. You go to scoop the ice cream, and they're like, cool, that'll be $10. Yep. And we've had all hands on deck working on preparing this ice cream for you. Even the soda machine guy we had working on the ice cream for you, it's only gonna be $10.
You're like,
that's what this feels like to me. You're
like, what? Why was the soda guy working on it? I paid for the buffet all these years. 100%. So that is one aspect of it. Okay. The access to that PvE mode is brutal. It's brutal. So other things that are fascinating. So I'm trying to like go through everything here. So another part of it is like they're just like the vibe of like, I can't touch a bush without crippling depression in the game explicitly because it's hardcore. And that's been the justification for everything. Like that's hardcore. It's a hardcore game. And they just keep allowing you to pay for more and more and more stuff. So like, once again, I do want to touch on the pay to win thing in a second. So chat, I'm gonna talk about pay to win, but just for a second, sever yourself from pay to win. Winning, what is winning? I know, but just sever yourself from that. Even if you wanted to go the most, like, I don't want to say conservative because that word has, even if you want to give them the most credit, like if I wanted to go as far and give them the most credit and say it's not,
you want a generous interpretation.
If I want the most generous interpretation and this isn't pay to win, these features or whatever, at what point does this stop? Like how big of a stash before it's like, this game's not hard anymore? How much gear at the start? Like, and the argument isn't like, well, you're just taking that to its logical conclusion for whatever. No, they are. 70.
No, we're past the slippery slope.
Exactly. There is a time to say, hey, don't give me the slippery slope thing. We have to see. But what I'm saying is like 4 more rows on a stash, a weapons case, a junk box, an ammo case, meta guns, meta ammo, 1,000,000 rubles, starting trader rep, starting fence rep, longer insurance time, more things on the flea market from day one.
You start with a 50 KD.
Like, at what goddamn point is it even, once again, even if you divorce yourself from pay to win, because what is the win mechanic, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk about pay to win, but even if you divorce yourself from that, at what point do you just go, this isn't a hardcore game anymore? Like, does the next edition just fill your goddamn stash with Bitcoin? That's not you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that, like, I'm not saying we've crossed over the threshold and I'm not saying that the game isn't hard now. And I know for 100% positive, because I already got some of them on my tweet where people are like, well, that's just because you're a streamer. This finally allows the casuals to play the game. The casuals need all this gear. I got some of those. I don't care. But what I'm saying is just like, does that make sense? Like, so separate from the pay to win thing, that is an interesting like component to this, where it's just like, how much more gear are you gonna give out? You know what I mean? Until like, what's the point? Especially because the game is just like money sim right now. Like, just get more money to buy more things. And so to start with, like, I mean, like the first 1,000,000 rubles many people spend is on a junk box. So now you get 1,000,000 rubles and a weapons case and a junk box and an ammo case. It's just like, it's just crazy, man. So there's that aspect of it.
Dude, I've gone 360. I've gone 7. I've done a fucking Tony Hawk Pro Skater
Post-hack Tony Hawk rationalization
9. I've done a 900 here.
Yeah.
And I will go so far as to say, now I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say and then briefly,
of course,
explain it. I would argue that you might actually be able to say now, possibly, that Tarkov is dead. And what I mean by that is
that's not what I thought you were gonna say.
What I mean by that is, you rewind back, watch my, if you are going to disagree with what I'm going to say, that's totally fine, but watch my history of Tarkov series.
Yes.
And you go watch what Tarkov was like in 2017, 2018, no further than like 2018, 2019 max, right? What the vibe was like then, the experience for players, in spirit, the soul, it could still be a good game, it could still be a hardcore game, it could still be whatever, right? But it just like, just knowing that you have the ability to start the game giga turboed out of your mind with all the things, and you can just then spend more money in real life to then get it, just is like,
so and that's so funny, because it
kind of kills the soul to me.
You ended that right back where I started it. The first thing I said was like, I can't run through a bush because the game is hardcore, but this, like, everything is framed through that now. Every weird, super frustrating, like, hardcore mechanic feels cheapened because I can just like, does that make sense? Like, you're exactly right. The spirit of like, it sucks. You're going to have no money. You're going to have no gear. You're going to have to claw your way through this world. It's just like, no, you don't. For $250, you can start with turbo gear. You know what I mean? Like, and this is one of the, this is like, this will be the bridge that leads us into the pay to win conversation. One of the things Nikita always says, and you can pull up the interview that he did with Pestily recently. Pestily asked, what more microtransactions do you have? He said, we got more clothes coming, but that's it. We're never going to be pay to win. We're never going to do boosters or stuff like that. Like, this is a one-time booster. Like, it's not a repeatable purchase, and I actually do think that's an important distinction when we talk about the levels of something being pay to win. When you can make a purchase a repeatable amount of times, that is way farther down the pay to win scale, right? Because like I can just buy gold as many times as I want. Like I can buy kits. So I'm not saying that this is as bad as being able to buy rubles or buy gear whenever I want. But also, can you look at this and not say it's a booster? Like, you know what I mean? Every single thing, soft skills, money, fence progression, trader progression, insurance, like every single conceivable way you've bought progress in the game, except your character level. It's the only thing that remains a 0 in every other conceivable way.
And so someone mentioned that, like, isn't that just what EOD was? And like I would
have
argue
thoughts on that too.
And I would argue, yes, EOD was a tiny percentage of this, but what I'm talking about is I'm talking less about from yesterday to today everything has changed, and more from remember I've like stepped back a little bit.
For sure.
Hideout plus the flea market plus everything you get with this new edition. Yeah. Those three things. Yeah. If Tarkov before without the hideout, flea market, and this new edition stuff, and then Tarkov with all three things added, I don't know where the line is, right? Like people want to say, where's the line? Where's it acceptable?
Patch,
you can give me $342, but 343, boom, it's pay to win. It's unacceptable, right? Like, where's the line? It doesn't fucking matter where the line is. But you don't need to know where the line is to look at A and B and determine that's acceptable. Oh, fuck, that's way too much.
That's
I don't know how far we've swung. All I know is that it's too far.
Yeah. 100%. And I do want to, because there are people in the chat, and I saw this all over Twitter too, so I do want to come out and talk about this. Isn't that like EOD? Yes. It is. It's similar to EOD, but here's the thing. Like, this is the...
Yeah, but a splinter is kind of the same as a bullet hole.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the same thing to different degrees.
Kind of exactly. So here's the thing. I used to be a guy that defended to the death that EOD wasn't pay to win. I used to be like, it's not. And once again, I'm at the point where like splitting hairs about, to your point on this dial, right? Splitting hairs and trying to get 100,000 people to agree, and it's pay to win. And before that, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You think EOD is pay to win, and Johnny doesn't? Cool. I think I used to think it isn't. I kind of think it's leaning towards it now. What I'm saying is that EOD was released as a, like, in 2016, as a, like, support the project, support the devs. This is kind of like a one-time deal. You get all this stuff, but you're going to help us out. This is like a really unique limited edition of the game. Like, that was always a part of it, was that, like, EOD was limited edition. It was like, there was an assumption that you do get a little pay to win. You do get a little booster, but it's limited. It won't be for everyone. It won't be repeatable. So, like, what I'm saying is that, like, if you're splitting hairs about EOD, you may have valid points. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm not saying your arguments are dumb. I might be now in a more malleable position where you can convince me it was. What I'm saying is that that's not what we're talking about right now. What we're talking about is that they took this area that was nebulous, and, you know, some people said, it's okay. Some people said, no, it's already crossed the line, and they went further. You don't have to be a dick to the people that now they went further, and everyone's like, that's crossed the line. If you thought they crossed the line a little earlier, you don't have, they crossed the line back here. It's like everyone is agreeing that this is for sure crossing the line. So it's like, once again, there might be a real conversation to have there. And I do think my position on it has changed over the years. But what we're talking about is that they took that thing everyone was up in arms about, and they doubled down on it, and they went farther. And so that pulling in, there are a few things that I personally think make this additionally pay to win. So first of all, things that you get with this that you don't get with EOD. You don't get, not in order of importance, I'm just reading them off the list. You don't get longer insurance. You don't get additional flea market rep. You don't get increased base fence standing. Correct me if I'm wrong on that last one. I know you get trader rep for EOD. I didn't think it was fence. So you're getting more things. And to me, a really kind of like the thing here to me, when we're talking about pay to win, this stupid mark of the unheard. With 6+ fence reputation, scavs won't shoot you at ranges of over 60 meters away. Like, that to me is very different than EOD. Like, literally, I have a clip. It's in like my second most recent highlight video where I was running through Shoreline. I killed 3 players, looted the whole resort. It's foggy. I can't even see the rock that sniper scav sits on. The fog is so dense, I can't see the rock that sniper scav sits on. I take nap. First shot. No calm, no warning shot. I just fall over. Dead. And you're telling me that'll never happen to me if I have the mark of the unheard? Like...
So okay,
that seems kind of pay to win to me.
So there's 2 things I want to talk about with pay to win. First of all, like you know, I love abstractions, right? I love to talk about abstractions.
Yeah.
In this case, I want to make it more concrete. If you have 20 different people, you'll have 20 different definitions of what pay to win is.
For sure, 100%.
So imagine 20 different people arguing whether or not a thing is a thing when that thing has 20 different definitions. They're all arguing past each other. It's a mess, right?
It's impossible.
So we should talk about what we mean when we say pay to win.
Yeah.
Historically speaking,
yeah,
the context of this conversation has always been, or at least whenever I've engaged in this argument, my perspective has always been winning in Tarkov is surviving.
Yeah.
That's the way I described it. And again, this is arbitrary. It's subjective. Okay, you can disagree, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You can't say I'm wrong. I can't say you're wrong. Yeah. My definition of winning in Tarkov is surviving. Nothing in EOD or any of the other editions got you to survive.
Yeah.
You know, there was always the whole pay for convenience, pay for whatever, right? Yeah. Like you get more slots in your container, that gets you more money. Well, technically you could argue that gets you better armor and more gun. And like, to me, that's just too many things removed from like, did I die or not? How much of that on this raid, how much of that had to do with EOD versus not? And to me, none of it. In this context, having the ability to fucking like call in a friend airstrike, effectively saying,
assemble the Avengers.
Everybody, I'm gonna need your fucking help. I'm in dorms. Get in here, thanks.
And then your homies show up.
Yeah.
And or having the AI not,
I agree,
aggro, like having the AI behave differently to you, which how they implement that. I'm gonna love to see. I'm gonna love to see how fucking broken that's gonna be.
Dan Exert made such a great meme, a little comic book of a sniper scav and a buddy over top of him being like, "Look, he's right there, shoot them." And he was like, "I can't see him." And the rangefinder said 61 meters. It was so great. Anyway,
yikes!
It's so great.
Yes. So that right there is unambiguously, in my opinion, completely in at least 2 things, and there's probably more that I've forgotten about, at least 2 things that have a significant, like, I would even argue that if you get like +5 levels to like your health skill or whatever it is, I actually am like, I think the skills are so irrelevant. I don't consider that a survival advantage, really, because I would argue that most of the soft skills, other than endurance or whatever, are kind of they're not as significant as people think they are.
Yeah, most of them are wild.
Outside of a few, like endurance and whatever. Those things are closer to the spectrum of hitting a threshold, but I don't know if they're over the threshold, and I personally don't care.
Yeah.
And even if it was quest, someone just said you require skill levels for quests, though. Yeah, but quests isn't winning to me.
Yeah.
To me, quests aren't winning. To me, if I'm in a gunfight with you, has anything I've purchased given me some sort of advantage in surviving?
And what you're saying is that...
And I would argue that being able to call in friends and whether or not AI will aggro you versus me, if we're in a 61-meter triangle of a bot, me and you, right, then I would argue that it's unambiguously crossed over into these are pay-to-win features.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I don't give a fuck whether, like, if something is pay to win, that by itself, just that concept alone, without any context in any game, is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It depends. Is it a multiplayer game?
Exactly.
Right? Like,
exactly.
So Diablo 2, I used to do fucking, what's it called? RMT.
Oh, yeah.
I would go on one of those Chinese websites and I'd pay $4 and I would be able to get gear that would save me 1,000 fucking hours of grinding so that I could play. And I wasn't competing with anybody. I was just doing fucking bail runs and farming gear and having fun, right?
Yeah.
So I would argue that in that context, something like RMT isn't this unethical bad thing that whatever. In just the same way that to me, saying, like, spending all of this effort to determine whether something is pay to win or not, who fucking cares? Because whether it falls into okay, so it's pay to win. Now what's the problem?
Yeah, exactly. And that's
what you have to say is the problem is X, Y, and Z. So then why don't we just talk about X, Y, and Z?
And that's why, that's like I said, I think it's important because people are up in arms about it so much. But that's where I agree. Like that, when I used to talk about EOD, so it's like EOD is pay to win, and then people would argue it is pay to win, it isn't pay to win, it isn't. I was like, okay, let's say pay to win is EOD is pay to win. Are you gonna play Tarkov tomorrow? Yep. So give me what, if EOD is pay to win, then what? You know what I mean? Like, what's the result? And that's where I think this is pushing. I agree that those two items are pushed firmly into pay to win. And I also agree with what you said, where like everybody's definition is different, because everybody's definition of what's pay to win in Tarkov is different, and everybody's definition of what pay to win is at all is different. And an example is like, you could make a lot of these same arguments in like Star Citizen. Star Citizen is a game that's like, what is winning in Star Citizen? It's just, the whole thing is like, explore the universe, have fun, do your thing. Star Citizen is pay to win as shit. Even though there's no defined win mechanic in Star Citizen, it's definitely pay to win. Because you could buy a $4,000 spaceship and have your friends hop on and you're unkillable. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So like, the definition of pay to win is we play fast and loose with it all the time. I definitely think Star Citizen is pay to win, even though there's no defined win mechanic. So for you to say your definition of pay to win in Tarkov specifically is, does it give me an advantage for survival? I get that. That's exactly where I used to draw the line. I think after playing some games like Star Citizen more and thinking about it more, my personal line of what's pay to win has gotten a little looser to like some of these pay for convenience things and pay for a head start. I see kind of in that same bucket more than I used to, which is why looking back, I'm like, okay, yeah, EOD kind of was along that line too. And this just like Kool-Aid man's through the wall with more of it, which is like, oh shit. Like, you know what I mean?
And I agree with you. I probably have the same exact feeling about the pay for convenience things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like the pay for advantage, whatever. But to me, classifying them as pay to win is just a pointless, meaningless
Yeah.
Like let's talk about why that's bad. It's bad for me because it takes away from the soul of the, which goes back to the whole idea.
Yes.
All of these things, it's more important to me to say that it rips the soul out of the fucking heart that was Tarkov in, back in the day. That's why it's bad, not that it falls into some dumbass category that we can put a simple label on it, like Democrat, Republican, fucking male, female. I want to put you in a bucket so that I can fucking throw you under my boot and step on you.
I know that the comments are going to be out of control, but I am tracking with you. You call it that to what end? And the end is to just to say that I believe the further down this road they go, the more the soul and life of Tarkov is sucked out. And I think that so many people, people that say this isn't pay to win would agree. And I think the people that say it's pay to win would agree that, once again, because that's why I brought that up earlier. Even if you give them the most gracious interpretation, even if you divorce yourself from the thought of pay to win, if they just keep releasing more versions with more gear and more money and more starter gear and more stuff, even if you don't call that pay to win, which the more that I kind of like think about it, I do, you would probably say the life is kind of getting sucked out of Tarkov. If I can just, if the $500 edition is just 30 million rubles and eye cases full of Ford armors, then why do, you know what I mean? So that is 100%. I think we arrived at the same spot there, which is that definition is to say that the farther they push out this direction, the more of the life and soul of the game gets sucked out. And for the first time, I can point to features and definitively say that gives a survival advantage. Being able to assemble the Avengers and or having scavs not aggro you is a survival advantage. Now, people are saying that when you have the radio on and you kill scavs, you lose scav rep. I don't know if that's true or if it's a bug. I didn't buy the thing.
Can you get it today?
Yeah.
I love that you could argue that paying more for an edition of the game to support the developers such that they could hire more engineers to make a less shitty game so that you don't get cucked by bullshit would also be pay to win, if you think about it.
I don't even want to.
If they just spent their fucking resources to make a better game, that would have been pay to win for everybody. And we all would have been for it. Think about it, chat.
Yeah.
Don't think about it for too long.
Don't think about it for too long, but think about it. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to say about this is that the other thing that hurts is that it feels like on more than one occasion, it leans into, this is a part of why it feels so bad for me. Once again, whether you think it's pay to win or not, I don't care. Is that to me, it feels like it leans into the fact the game is designed shittily. Like, fix the scavs? Nah. What if we sell you a radio where you don't get shot from far away?
My God, Steam Audio 2.0 coming back in, only
Dude,
$4.99, boys.
You think the soft skills you have to grind for your quests suck dick? Wait, should we fix them? Nah, what if you just started with level 3 on 5 of the skills? Like, that's a part of it. Whether you call it pay to win or not, what I'm saying is that, like, I look at some of this stuff and I'm like, what? Like, fix the game. You know what I mean? And the grind or whatever, or the scavs, or it like wouldn't be like, you know what I mean? Like, it's defensible that you release a game in early access and charge a bunch of money for some future stuff, right? It's acceptable that people will pay more for less of a product because they're going to be able to enjoy a product for a certain amount of time and get more value over time. That's defensible. Yeah.
It starts to become a little bit less defensible when they start taking the thing that they haven't delivered on their promises on repeatedly for years and then start dishing it out with different labels and different changes and different modes and different whatever. I mean, let's be honest. Arena is a different game, but it's a copy pasta of Tarkov with a different UI. It's Tarkov with a different menu. Okay. So really, Arena is like 98% what we paid for and have been dealing with for the last better part of a decade.
Yeah.
So the idea that okay, let's look at this from a slightly different perspective. Imagine if this was a year from now, 1.0 was shipped. The sound was decent. The scavs weren't broken, and all the stuff made sense. And then they added a new thing that they wanted to sell as a standalone thing and whatever. It wouldn't be so bad. This is another way that it feels like a kick in the balls because it's like what we have is not it's not done. It's not finished. It doesn't work.
Yeah, what the hell?
So why are you trying to sell it again?
See, and this is why. So you, like, go back to the beginning of the conversation, because in an hour you've done exactly what I did in 6 hours, right? Where at the beginning you were like, okay, like that's stupid, but just okay. But like I told you, the shit cake has layers. The more you peel it back, the more paper cut. It's death by 1,000 cuts. This is because all of these small things are absolutely a part. And this is what, like, not everyone is going to be able to vocalize. But if you've been playing the game for a long time, what you just said is absolutely a layer of this. That it's like this. It's been if it would absolutely be criticized, and it would absolutely justifiably be criticized, but it wouldn't feel quite as shitty if the net code was rocking, if you had 180 frames on streets, and if you could fucking hear anybody. It would still be worthy of criticism, but it would be a little bit less. But you can't. But it's still all these issues. But we have Arena, and nobody likes it. But it's just like, the more you process it, the more you think about it, the more it just like feels bad. And then the price tag of just like $250 for
Dude,
what?
If this was like Activision, I would roll my eyes and be like, yeah, typical fucking bullshit ass. Part of why personally it feels as bad as it does is just because, like, this whole thing feels so. I feel like we were so close, as a community with BSG, with the team. And like what they've done in the last 6 months, it just seems like they've just fucking straight up pulled the ripcord and are like,
here's what's crazy.
Peace out later, as we're like in the plane. Like,
here's what's crazy, dude, is that if you take this,
you're tearing me apart, Nikita.
If you take this and a few other decisions, I know this is a big ask, out of the equation, they've been on a roll. And we're going to talk about some of the other changes later, because some of them are going to blow your mind. It's super confusing. Some of the addition, like, okay, I want to talk about this later. Maybe we'll talk about it now. I don't know. Let me read you just really quickly 4 other lines. 4 other lines from the patch notes. Reduce the base inertia strength. Reduce the aim punch effect. Reduce the screen blur when taking damage. Reduce camera shake while shooting. Now,
wait a minute. That just might be enough to make me not give a fuck. And you know what? I'm like only kind of 10% kidding.
Yeah, dude. So that's what I'm saying, dude. I can give you
and you know that was like a 4 line of code change they could have done in 2016, right?
100%. I can point to 3 more of these.
Wait, that's free, right? That's free, right? You don't. That's not a. I unironically now have to ask you if that's a fucking feature that I have to pay for or not.
Yes, it's free. So I can point to 3 or 4 other massive, girthy W's like that, where in a vacuum, you would say, oh my God, you would say 2024 BSG, holy cow, they're finally coming out of their own butt. They're finally listening to the community. Let's go, W. Like so many of the things in the wipe, so many of the things in the recent patches. So I hear what you're saying and I agree, but I'm saying it breaks my brain. It fries my brain because sometimes I look at one thing and I go, they're pulling the ripcord and they're literally tanking their own game. But then I look over here and they go, they're finally listening to the community. They want everybody to be happy. And I can't reconcile those things. It's crazy talk. And
there must be someone that works at BSG. Seriously, I wonder if like, hey guys, this is the guy that we just brought over from this other company. He's going to help us. He's got a vision. He's got a strategy. Boom. And they're like, cool. Now we can focus. Nikita and the team can focus on the vision of the game, and these guys can handle all the business stuff. And they're like, all right, cool. Let's fucking make everything like a t-shirt, and we'll sell a fucking monthly membership. And like Nikita's like, cool. Yeah. Do whatever you want.
And then he's like fixing the game.
and then he turns around and it's like, wait a minute, you gotta like, what do I have to do to buy the game now and play the game?
Yeah.
And
and then here's the last thing I want to say about this. I've seen a few people throw it in chat. I've seen a few people throw it on Twitter. The idea here is it's a money grab. Arena tanked. They thought Arena was going to bring in a bunch more money. They're broke. They took a gamble. They hired a whole nother team on Arena. Apparently there's some stuff with their financials. Like apparently there's some actual, like they requested that their financial report be delayed. Don't ask me. I don't know any of it. But here's what I want to say to the thought process around they're broke and they need money. I don't think, I am not under the assumption that no one is going to buy this, right? They are going to make a lot of money from this. The first 2 people I died to today on stream had it because it's a new, instead of the crown, it's like a cult symbol and it's blue. Your name is blue, so you can tell. First 2 people, they're absolutely going to. Here's my thing, though. I feel so strongly that if they added 5 new cosmetic items that were priced between $10 and $20, they would have made more money. I really think so. Like the amount of people that are not buying this, super up in arms about it, super offended, boycotting the game, whatever. Maybe you say that they'll boycott the game and they'll come back. I genuinely think in 1 week with 5 new cosmetics, they would make more cash than selling this edition of the game. Because this
I don't know enough about the numbers we're talking here. It very well might be the case.
Yeah, because this isn't a game where you have a whale. Because that's that repeatable purchase, right? Nobody's buying 200 of these accounts. Funding it like in Diablo, where you have like 30 people fund 80% of the microtransactions because they're whales. That's not like this. So adding cosmetics, even the dreaded B word, the battle pass, that stuff, I'm not saying that they should add a battle pass. What I'm saying is those things, they could have, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If they added a battle pass, which I'm not saying they should do, Jesus Christ. If they added a battle pass, but said the PvE mode is for everybody, there's no new addition of the game. Like they just folded all this cool stuff into the game, but added cosmetics or added a battle pass or something. It would be like BSGW.
Okay, so
people are so over the microtransactions thing already. Like, yes, people are offended by being able to buy clothes, but people were mad about that, but so much less bad about that than this because of all the reasons we just laid out. If they just said, here's 10 more clothes, here's gloves, separate gloves, they would make more money on one pair. I am not trying to be like dramatic here. I think they'd make more money on a $9.99 set of gloves than this.
So gloves is the first thing that I unequivocally would say yes.
And they wouldn't have to kick their entire player base in the dick.
I won't say no to any of the other stuff because I don't know. All I can say is I don't really give a fuck about the cosmetics, but and I'll tell you why. A bunch of people were talking about like how Blizzard made like bajillion dollars from like mounts, like skins and stuff in WoW, or like you think about skins in CSGO. Here's the thing. Skins and cosmetics in every other game, you get to look at the whole time.
Yeah.
In Tarkov, ignoring gloves, you only fucking see the thing when you're in the menu.
But dude,
so to me, it's, again, this is just personally.
For sure.
It's less of a no-brainer.
You're not wrong, but here's the thing. But so many people bought the cosmetics. Like, I play the game all the time, and I'm running into like level 8s with the urban responder drip because which you needed to get level 55 for. So A, so many people are buying the cosmetics, and B,
I'm sure. I absolutely am sure.
But you make a valid point. We can take the argument though and just adjust it slightly. Melee weapons and gloves. Like, I'm so positive that they would have made more. Here's the. I'm sorry. I know I'm all over the place. I know I say like a lot. I'm sorry, Chad. I'm trying to calm down. If they released 2 sets of gloves, 2 unique melee weapons in the microtransaction store, and added this PvE mode to all EOD owners and put it as $9.99 in the store, I believe with every fiber of my being, they would have made significantly more money than they're making on this edition. They wouldn't have had to piss anybody off. And the game would be thriving.
Well,
and
okay,
so I go really quick. I just go back to if the argument is they're doing this because they're poor, they're stupid beyond my wildest imaginations, because they could make more money doing less harm. Does that make sense? So that's what I was saying. To the argument that they're doing this as a cash grab, that's the most insane cash grab ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the only thing I'll say is, you're comparing A with B, right? You have the cosmetics versus like the $250 version of the game. Imagine a third option, which is $250 version of the game. They wait a little bit. They wait a month until most of the sweaty gamers have moved on from raging, and like at least 50% have come back, and then they sell gloves.
Yeah.
In which universe do they make more money? Probably the one where they,
for sure, you're not wrong.
They do the unethical, dumbass, fucking moronic thing, get a bunch of people mad, get a bunch of money for it, and then it's probably like less of a hit that then will make an impact on them, considering they've already made most of the money that they're gonna make. So at this point, it's like, we need to just get whatever we can fucking get. I mean, boys,
you're right. I said this on stream earlier today. I am 100% under the assumption. Like, here's what I said earlier today. They're going to put the PvE only mode in the store. The community is going to say that they won and they got BSG to do that. But my assumption is that today, when they press go live on all this, they had a plan. Like, they have a targeted date when they're going to add it to the store. It's just after they rake up a bunch of people buying this edition of the game. I agree. Like, I think they know. I think they're going to do that intentionally. It's the most business thing. But I still maintain, like, here's the deal, man. I know
the alienating the community is going to be a big hit.
Know that exactly. That's what I'm saying. I know it's easy to be like, dude. See, the thing is, if you don't buy 3 rental properties by the time you're 29, what are you doing with? Like, if you don't have properties and you're not raising rent,
here in my hideout,
if you freaking can't subsidize this $250 by raising rent on the single mother that lives in your duplex, what are you doing? Like, I know the business bro grind set, like freaking. They're just doing the best business thing. At some point, part of business is the intangible of like keeping your customers happy. You know what I mean? Like, it's at some point, like, once again, this isn't a game where they can rely on whales to make purchases in huge quantities. So like, they could have saved 99% of the public humiliation that they're going through. And they could have made, even giving them the most conservative, they could have made 88% of the money they were going to make. Like, it's just, I truly can't fathom that this was worth it financially. I mean, the
Well-
community is burning to the ground.
It's whether or not you want to metaphorically or literally sleep at night. Here I am at 800% my normal viewership.
Yeah.
It was the right business decision to turn on ads.
Yeah.
It's literally free money.
Yeah.
But it also is just kind of feels shitty to get like $20 more
Yeah.
and inconvenience a bunch of people in the community.
Yeah.
And you would think that like whatever money, this is me being a naive fucking communist or whatever anybody's gonna call me, whatever. But like, I don't know, dude. It's just like,
yeah,
there are plenty of things you can do to make more money and not be shitty about it.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
And
completely agree.
And now this might be the most important thing personally I say on the topic. So if anybody hears anything, this is going to be it. Buyer beware. You should know now, if you're going to buy something from BSG, I wouldn't feel so confident that you're going to get what you paid for whatever time period you think you're paying for it. Because they've demonstrated not once, not twice, but multiple times that they can just kind of like squeaky on the whiteboard. It's not chiseled in stone anymore.
Dude.
It's not chiseled in stone anymore.
It's not a unique secure container. It's just a secure container.
No, yeah, it's a chalkboard now, and their hands are covered in fucking chalk dust.
Yeah.
That was the most dramatic way of
Their
saying.
hands are covered in the blood. I mean, in the dust of the chalkboard. Okay.
And here we are out back banging the things together. The metaphor breaks down. Okay?
We're out back banging. Okay. The only other thing is, okay, a few people took to Twitter to kind of dunk on BSG. Okay. Mara from
Oh yeah, actually that's a great question.
Gray Zone. What was the question?
From Rocky Falbo.
Oh yeah. Mara from Gray Zone tweeted, how much should Gray Zone's early access be? It was a Twitter poll. It was 35, 45, 55, or 250. I was like, damn. and then, bro. Yeah. And then, do you know what Arena Breakout is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Arena Breakout, mobile game, Tarkov clone. It was fun. I played it. It was actually fun. It's been fun. They're porting it to PC, and they're doing their marketing. So today they tweet, remember, this is the Unheard edition of the game. So today they tweet out, as some eras fade and go unheard elsewhere, ours is just rising. You know, little poke. A few hours later, bigger poke, same Twitter account. We will never scam our players. Our game will always be free. In just 30 minutes, it will be our moment. They dropped a gameplay trailer today. Which, bigger poke, and like, you know, BSG never said their game was going to be free, but they're taking their opportunity for some Twitter drama, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Fool me once, shame on you. There's a saying in Texas, maybe in Tennessee, but also in Texas. Fool me once, shame on
you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
You can't get fooled again.
You won't get fooled again.
Come on, you know it's people will get the reference. You know the George W. Bush clip from back in the day?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I didn't know.
God damn it, you fucking Zoomer.
I didn't know if you wanted the actual saying or the freaking.
No, I know.
Who does the song?
I had to play dumb, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Who does the song? Is that who?
It's the I think it's the Who.
The freaking
no.
CSI Miami.
Yeah.
Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive. Okay. So anyway, what the fuck was I saying? Oh, fool me once. So basically what I was going to say is
J. Cole.
BSG also said BSG was Arena Breakout, whatever, where they were the ones that were like,
Yeah.
we're gonna do this, we're not gonna do this, and we were like, fucking cool, fucking based, fucking awesome.
Yep. And here
And
we
then
are.
what were we just talking about 3 months ago or whatever?
Yep.
How about how I was like,
Yeah,
Nikita
I was like,
just went back on this thing, and what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that tells me something. Okay, maybe I have now done a fucking 1080.
Yep. They just keep getting higher.
On the different thing, and that like what I was gonna say was I never really predicted like this whole thing about like you were right. I never ever saw this bullshittery
coming.
Borderline. I don't want to say unethical. I wouldn't say it's unethical. It's just shitty.
Big shitty.
And yeah, it's just fucking shitty. There's a lot of other adjectives. I hesitate to say unethical. But I never predicted that. But I will say, as soon as some of those changes happened, however long ago that was, 3, 4, 5 months, I instantly was like, wow. I got the feeling that something changed.
Yeah. And
I kind of took it personally, and I was like, I kind of think it's fucked up. Maybe people are alluding to that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that, okay. Maybe that I was right about. But yeah, I do want to circle back to that whole thing. And that, like, I don't know. I never complained like 2-3 years ago that BSG was selling out or that they were whatever.
Anyways, the Twitter thing. So Arena Breakout tweets. And then Arena Breakout tweets. I actually didn't even realize the third tweet. Let me see if did they delete it? No, they didn't. Okay. Then Arena Breakout tweeted, taking in all homeless shooter looters with the big wave goodbye to Tarkov today. We're here to welcome you to Kimona. If this video gets 5,000 retweets, 10,000 more test slots will be added to the servers. BSG screenshotted that, the official BSG account, and said, have a nice 20-minute adventure in the blatant plagiarist game In and Out.
Oh, no.
Dude, yeah. And it was like the biggest, not the time, my brother in Christ.
You don't fire back when you're...
Dude, today. Literally.
Are you sure that wasn't Banter State?
No, dude, do you want to know something crazy? Do you want to know the craziest tweet I've ever seen in my life? I saw the Battle State Games tweet, quote tweeted by Banter State Games, and he said, this isn't even me. What the fuck? No. Dude, when the parody account is freaking out about a tweet, dude, I died. That joke.
Time is a flat circle.
Dude. The freaking parody account is like, wait, what the fuck?
Brother!
Dude.
Did they delete it?
No, it's still on their Twitter, the BSG one.
I don't see it.
It's the first tweet, not the pinned one.
Oh, have a nice 20-minute plagiarist game. In and out.
Dude, that like to comment ratio is a woof.
Bro, like, no, I now I'm worried. Now I'm worried. Someone's at the helm of
Dude.
Like either Nikita has lost his fucking mind.
Yeah.
Nikita, I'm talking to you, homie. Either you've lost your fucking mind or you need to fire some motherfuckers. What's happening,
Dude,
bro?
Yeah, or like, who's the guy?
How fucking blatantly tone deaf.
Yeah, dude, that's
out
what
of
I'm
your
saying.
Fucking mind
That's
can you be,
dude? So now you understand the vibe I'm having going into this podcast, bro. It all the context was needed, bro. Either they've lost their mind or the dude that hacked Rockstar Games with a fire stick is all up in their business, just messing with everything. But one of those things has to be true. It literally, brother, there are videos of the Escape from Tarkov Discord melted, my man. It was flying essays, paragraphs and paragraphs were flying at 1,000,000 miles an hour. The entire community, every streamer was criticizing it. So many of the big streamers hopped off. A bunch of people said they were boycotting the game. The Reddit was on fire. Their Discord was on fire. they're burning to the ground. And they tweet, have a nice 20-minute adventure in a blatant plagiarist game. Like, oh, I believe it's still melting. I'm just saying it was, when did they tweet this? Like, what's the time? It doesn't give me any.
4 hours ago.
No, but 3:17 p.m., servers went up at 10 a.m. That was 5.5 hours of everybody that plays this game melting, begging for them to roll it back. And that's the tweet they sent. It's just
on so many levels
crazy, dude.
Because you have to realize, like, people are waiting for an answer. So you have to know, even if you're thinking and feeling that, you have to know we can't tweet it because optically it looks fucking stupid.
100%.
But then, again, at the same time, to think, to even, I can't, dude. My brain, Veritas.exe has stopped working. I'm sorry.
Dude, 100%,
I'm trying to
dude, 100%.
I feel like I'm watching like a close friend spiral into like,
I felt sick to my stomach.
I just found out that like a close friend of mine that I haven't seen, since maybe like college is like mentally spiraling. The ex-girlfriend drug addict thing is coming back. Like that's what it.
Yeah.
I'm actually concerned.
I got this truncated is a truncated version of exactly how I felt on stream. At first, I was like, this is lame. I'm not going to buy it. And by the end of the stream, I was like, sad. And I ended the stream early. And I was like, this sucks. You want to know? Dude, I don't think Swamp will be mad. You want to know what really made me sick to my stomach? Okay, so I've been processing this. Somebody was like, yo, somebody that had the thing was like, the Unheard edition. Yo, I'm playing PvE mode. And I just, because in PvE mode, there's AI PMCs so that the map is populated with more than just scavs.
Mm-hmm.
I died to a AI PMC named Swamp Fox. And I was like, imagine not having, because you know how they made like raiders, like some of the raiders names are like Batty or Donut Operator. I was like, imagine.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they made.
No, actually, maybe I kind of do.
But I was like, dude, Swamp doesn't have a streamer item. He's been a part of the community since 2016. Imagine your like little bit of like BSG recognition being behind the $250 paywall. He was in chat at the time. I was like, there's no way that's true. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yo. I was like, that sucks. I was like, so I don't, it just like, and once again, that's such a small thing. I'm not just trying to pile on BSG for the sake of it. What I'm saying is like, once again, did they do that and think this is so sick? You know what I mean? What I'm saying is I'm trying to speak to what is the mind frame here.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm looking at somebody spiraling, having a mental breakdown. You remember? Okay, this is like totally stepping out of the thing. Does anybody remember there was that YouTuber chick who for like a 2-day period was like legitimately she was having like a manic thing, like live streaming it.
Oh, like, yes.
I forget her fucking name.
I don't remember, but I remember that. I just don't keep up with the names of these people.
But like there were people who were legitimately like, oh my God, like,
are you okay?
Yeah, or like actually, like unironically, like, are you okay? Like, this is like, it's so utterly fucking detached from reality, like even uncharacteristic of BSG. Like historically, you go back like a year or two, and like Nikita on Twitter has been based as fuck and like funny and like
it's the
so again, I don't know if this is like if they've gone full on like
that's what I'm saying.
Corporate self-harm here or what.
It's the tweet, whatever the quote, whatever movie it's quoted from has been all over my chat today. It's like you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. You know what I mean? And it's like, God damn. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, he's been doing too much coke in Dubai or something. I don't know. So
in Minecraft.
In GTA. So, okay. So that is that. I think at this point, I could talk about it for forever. But at this point, I am glad. I am almost glad you didn't just come out swinging with the like, yeah, BSG sucks, because I really did go through that on stream. Like I really wasn't burn it down when I saw this. You know what I mean? I almost bought it out of reflex because I buy everything because I'm a degenerate, right? And I saw it and I was like, that's lame. And I just, all of those micro realizations, all of those layers, all of those like smaller betrayals, all of the feels bad moments on top of the big like, pay to win, 250. And it just started weighing more and more. And it's just rough. It's just rough. So that's that. We got some other stuff to talk about. Also, I want to take a second and thank the sponsor for this episode, and that is MeUndies. Okay, I don't even want to come up with my own intro for this. And this says, because this is so true, underwear drawers are like the Wild West of wardrobes. There's no rhyme or reason to them. Anything goes. You've got 3 pairs from birthdays, 2 Christmases ago, and 5 from different brands with 5 different fits. When you open the drawer every morning, you have no idea what to expect, but not anymore. I don't even want to change that. That is my literal life experience. I am not lying. I swear to God, I am not doing this for the ad read. Yesterday, I got the wrong pair of underwear that fits too tight. So I went to my drawer and got another pair because it's all just a mess, dude. It's literally all just a mess. They all fit different and I hate them. And so the sponsor today is MeUndies. I literally have mine on and they're a actual delight.
Bro, I've been wearing like the first podcast I started listening to like years ago. Their like first sponsor was MeUndies. I got into it way back in the day. I literally have like 8,000 pairs because actually I used to be friends with somebody who worked there. When I was in TwitchCon a few years ago, I had like a tour of their facility.
Oh, that's sick.
Bro, their artists, the vibe in their office, it's a fucking rad company, dude. It's a super cool company. And literally all of their, I wear boxer briefs. Yep. All the boxer briefs, the pajama pants. First of all, I don't get to fucking or wear them anymore because my wife steals them because they're so comfortable. Like unironically, fantastic quality, super comfortable. I love all the designs. Literally, me and my wife have a joke about like what fucking butt I have today. She's like, "Oh, you got the alien butt. You got the and today, unironically, I have surfboard butt." Yeah. So I love it.
It's sick. Their styles are sick. They have like all sorts of crazy prints. I went with minimalist black. The fabric is so soft. The band is thick. I have they're so nice. They're so comfortable. They're baby. The
POS.
Yep. They're versatile. They versatile loungewear. They have all other stuff. They've got joggers, hoodies, onesies, all sorts of stuff. Super comfortable, responsibly sourced, use sustainably sourced materials, and work with partners that care for their workers. So MeUndies is awesome. I've enjoyed their experience. I know Veritas has as well. You can get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Pogcast. That is MeUndies.com/Pogcast for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in. Bam. Okay. I want to take a break from talking about Tarkov and talk about the next most important thing on my list, which is Gray Zone Warfare. There was the 7-day playtest. I played 75 hours of the game in that week.
God damn.
And I had a blast. Now, I feel like before I even go into my thoughts, we should talk about this. We touched about this on the PP, patreon.com/thepodcastpod. But I had
spicy conversations like this all the time.
I had a lot of people ask me, has Veritas played it?
So
Go.
I played it for a few hours when I got back. So the playtest started on Thursday. I was in Utah until like Thursday or until like Friday morning at like 2 a.m. I was mega exhausted, got back on Friday, and I'm going to just cut right to the chase. I am just not in the mood for shooters.
That's so valid.
Listen, I could, and I recognize that a lot of people wanted my feedback, wanted my takes, and I genuinely feel guilty for having the opportunity to play and having people who want my feedback and opinions that I was not able to provide it.
Yeah.
I get it, okay? While at the same time, I don't want to spend 75 hours playing a game that's in a genre, like an entire genre.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like I just kind of not feeling the FPS game community drama dealing with the whole, is it Tarkov 2.0, blah, blah, blah. Like I just kind of am out of it. So now all I can say is that when I did the original playtest, like that first initial playtest, I had some performance problems. And I basically said, I'll revisit it when it comes back. I was running like 25 FPS. It was kind of rough. I wasn't sure if it was my computer, if it was the optimization of the game. I said I'd take a look at it again. When I first started up the game, I actually ran into worse performance problems for the first like 20 minutes. Like the game was like locking up for me and I was getting like probably 30 FPS. But I turned DLSS off and I turned on, what is it, FSR? Is that what it's called? I forget what the other setting
FSR.
is. And instantly went up to like 80 or 90 frames or something and really didn't experience any problems. So as far as I'm concerned, in my short experience playing, I didn't have many performance problems. I could probably just get like my experience. It's pretty short, like out of the way, and then just hand it over to you. So I started off, and again, I was kind of like, I booted up the game, and I'm sitting there in the fob, and I'm like, what do I want to do? I have no motivation. I don't know what I know I'm not going to play a ton, so it's like I don't care about the quests. I don't, and it's like, I don't actually know, like, do I unlock stuff? How do I get stuff? I don't know where the gear is. So I'm like, oh, there's all this overwhelming, like, fuck. So I just kind of like literally grabbed the first starting stuff. All of a sudden I look over and like a helicopter's coming in with like people, and I just like jumped in a seat. I probably stole someone's seat because I just literally just hopped in and was like, the first thing I was struggling with, that was like the first kind of annoying thing was, you can't, I want to know who you are. It's like, let me find the pixel where your nameplate pops up. 100%. I was literally spent my whole time we were just all like cats sniffing each other's buttholes, trying to fucking identify who is who. Like,
for sure.
And so I got that out of the way. And I went in and was just kind of like following behind some random dudes, you know, whatever. And then we're just like dead. Never saw, never heard. It was like, that's the game that, that's Tarkov, right? Like, experienced that. And it's like, so I'm thinking like, I'm not mad. I just don't know, if I want to.
How much of this do I want to do?
And then like, bloop, 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 spawns in front of me, and I see Pep, Markstrom, and Deadly Slob. And I was like,
Hey guys.
Fucking run over, hop on the helicopter with them, and we were just memeing. And so part of what I was thinking was, I was getting to the realization around like PvP, because it's not as straightforward as other games.
Yeah, correct.
First thing I did was I asked you which faction you were on.
Yep.
And it was like whatever the middle faction was. I was like, cool, I'll choose that. And then I realized, like, fuck, I think most people chose this faction. Or at least it sounded like most people did. That was the impression I got. And I was thinking, like, fuck, the other factions spawn on the other sides of the map.
Yep.
I open up the map and it's like, you know,
it's huge.
From here to fucking Brazil. And I have no, like, waypoints, drop zones, whatever the fuck they're called.
LZs, yeah.
LZs, and I'm like, oh, so I'm just not going to PvP.
Yeah.
Because I don't actually fully understand how it works, but like shooting your own faction
is bad.
So shooting your own faction is bad. So I'm like, well, fuck. So I don't even think, if I'm going to play for 3 or 4 hours, I probably won't experience any PvP.
Yep.
So I'm like, but I don't care about PvE.
Yeah.
So that was another thing where I'm like, So basically I went in, I followed them around, we killed some bots. I played for, I don't know, maybe like 40 minutes with them. I died. I went all the way back.
Yeah.
Markstrom was like, yo, hop in our Discord. I'm like, dog, I'll probably be done before I would find your Discord and like find the channel. So, but it's still, my opinion of the game is it has massive potential. I'm sure I will revisit it again.
Yeah.
It's like when you have like fucking hamburgers every day for like a week, you just kind of don't feel like a hamburger.
Exactly. You could go to a really good hamburger place if you're just really not feeling a hamburger and be like, I just don't want it. And be like, but it's good. So that was like a thing you wanted to clear up, is that like you weren't playing not because you're like, this game sucks. It's just because now I played, like I said, 75 hours in 7 days. Man, I don't even know where to begin. I'm like putting all my thoughts together for a video. There's 10,000 foot view. It did exactly what it needed to do for me, which is convince me that it had potential to be a game that is like, that has legs. Every single aspect of that game needs work. Like I was mauling, I had super frustrating moments, every single thing. But Veritas, there is some X factor. Like, I played more Gray Zone Warfare than I have DMZ, Marauders, The Cycle Frontier, or Dark and Darker combined.
Well, you also played more than Tarkov because you didn't spend any time in menus.
Yeah, I played in 75 hours. I played more.
You played 75 hours of the game.
Of the game, and yeah, I have 8,000 hours in Tarkov, and 7,000 hours are in the menus, bro. Just as a quick aside,
you're joking, but that's true,
dude. Dude, all jokes aside, bro, the amount of times I've been like, every time I go to a streamer, they're just in a helicopter. Is this a helicopter sim? I'm like, every time you go to a Tarkov streamer, he's loading into raid, and you never bitch about that. Sorry. It just happened so much. Okay.
These people are bots, dude.
They're bots. They're bots.
And I don't mean literal bots, because that would actually be more generous than saying you act like a mindless fucking bot. Stop it. Stop it.
Dude, but they're bots, and they're not annoying until it's like one mosquito's not annoying, but a million of them is annoying. You know what I mean? When one bot, when somebody comes in, it's like, whatever, I'll just dunk on you and move on. But when it's 7 days of it. Anyways, let's go back. It has something. And truly, I don't know what it is. I'm trying to figure it out because I'm trying to work on a script for a video. Like, I remember playing the Cycle Frontier. A lot of people were hyped about it. And I still think to this day, they did some things in the extraction genre the best that anyone's ever done. They've done things so cool. And I remember thinking, I should like this more than I do. but I was like snooze bored, falling asleep at my monitor the second day. And I remember being
wait, playing
the Cycle Frontier.
Oh, okay.
And I remember being like, this could be something. I really hope that they figure it out. Like, I'll be excited to come back every update. Okay? RIP 07's in the chat for the Cycle. They didn't figure it out. The cheating got out of hand. They stopped wipes. The economy broke. The game died. I remember playing... I remember playing Marauders, the literal Tarkov clone staring into a dying sun spaceship battle. And I remember thinking, I'm kind of bored, but this is cool. And I hope that they crush it. I've never been back. I remember having high hopes for DMZ. Played that. Had some fun, had the most fun out of the three in that, kind of got bored. COD has stopped supporting DMZ. I remember playing Dark and Darker. So many of my friends love Dark and Darker. One peg went over full-time Dark and Darker. A lot of friends. Second day, I was bored. I was like, I hope that this game does well. So to me, dude, this game, at 74 hours, I was like, I want to play more. So to me, I can't speak for anybody else, but it had something that I just can't explain, but like, I just wanted to keep playing. That being said, like the game, so like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to romanticize it. I just want to, I think it's important for me to state like, it tickled something in my brain that like none of these other games could. And I think I've put more time into Gray Zone Warfare than any other game other than Star Citizen since 2018. I haven't put 75 hours into a single other video game since 2018. And I did it in the 1 week playtest. So it was that. Now that being said, the game needs more time in the oven for sure. There were things like the audio, atrocious, super unfortunate.
To me, it felt like, I don't know how else to describe it, like two-dimensional.
Something is
like kind of paper thin, or yeah. I don't know how, it's hard to describe.
Something is like, it sufficiently confused me that I don't know what is happening. If you, like, all the time this would happen, if you stand still, the game goes, and you're just in the void of space. Nothing. And then if you run, you'll take 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. On the 4th step, the whole game's audio comes back. The first 3 steps are silent. But then I was like, I'd be like, yo, Mossy, can you hear me running? And he was like, yeah, I hear you. So it was like client side that my audio went away. And then a lot of the PvP, man, close quarters combat in that game was all trades because there was no footstep audio. So like I would kill somebody and I would be clearing the area and somebody would just full sprint up behind me, no audio, and they would kill me. And then I would say on my body is a guy. And while the guy that killed me was like trying to clear the area, one of my teammates would full sprint up onto them and kill them. And then they would die. It was just that nonstop and people coming back. It was like, it was just like weird. The audio was weird. You couldn't hear footsteps. But like, so close quarters PvP felt weird pretty much the whole playtest. Long range PvP where you were relying more on like spotting. I was playing with Airwing and Tower, and there were some times, dude, where like, there were some tactical AF times where we're calling out grid coordinates on the map. I can pull up the map and see where Tower's location is. He's saying southeast to me. He can track a guy, but the guy's moving. He doesn't want to take the shot yet. You swing the corner, pop, 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 dead. When combat was more visual, it was more fun. When it relied more on audio, it was less fun.
I kind of want to say, like, and this is just taking a very, very quick step back into Tarkov land. Remember how not long ago I was basically saying how I would love to have a very subtle teammate indicator and and like some subtle way of getting like a compass heading, like those features in Tarkov would have just people would say, not hard. Fuck off. The game would have been better. And what you experienced is what people would have experienced without ever thinking about. They only thought it because I said it. If it was in the game, they would have experienced it being good. And it would have just been good.
Realistic. Like the way that Grayzone did it. I mean, like in the game, it's your Blue Force tracker. Like that's a real thing where you can see where people are.
Now, I will say that that was one aspect of that was one of the clunkier aspects. It's better than not having it, but when I was thinking about like the hurdle for PvP was like I need to hop in a chopper to someone who has an LZ across the map, and then like I don't fully get where they spawn. Like I've only ever been to one fob, so I don't know what the other fobs are like, if they're like literally copy pastas but they're just like turned and moved, right? Like I don't know. And then I was thinking, well fuck, I don't want to roll with like Markstrom and Deadly. And then I said, well, wait, actually, it doesn't even matter if I roll with anybody, because the moment I'm moving along and I see somebody, I'm going to be like, oh, hit the M button, look to see if my little triangle is pointing at the little blue dot in order to see if it's an enemy or not. That sucks. They need to do something about that.
I couldn't agree more. We talked about that a lot. I like the map thing. I don't mind.
I love the mini map,
I don't mind that there's not teammate identifiers above the head. I like that you can see the thing, but your PID is atrocious. 3 factions, everyone has the same clothes, everyone has the same gear, everyone has the same faces, right? Like in Tarkov, the more you play, you can like tell that's a bear. Like the black bear shirt, even if there's none of the like clothing, black bear shirt, green USEC army, you know what I mean? Like, so there are things you can pick up on in this game. Everybody looked identical, and you can only zoom into the map so far. So even if you open the map and you have a friendly in front of you, how far in front of you? If there's an enemy between you and the friendly, you're like, wait, is that you? So
imagine if there was just not even a dot. I've historically said a little subtle dot, but now based on what someone just said in chat, imagine if it was like 20% opacity, 6-point font, their name on their shoulder or something. Because what I'm saying there is, especially if you want to be tactical, you can say fucking Johnson, 2 clicks to your left is whatever. Smith, whatever, right? Like having the names, you can actually communicate, because you would, in real life, you would know, you'd recognize where people were, you'd know who they were, because you know, like so I would love that.
Another thing I was thinking too was like you know how Tarkov has all the gestures, like the hi, come here, not all those, but a few simple ones. Like if you could do this, you know, you were like this, and in Discord or squad comms, because there's like squad radio, if I was like, yo, a hand check, and all of my people just did a little thing like this, boom. So I don't have to say, is that you? Is that you? Who am I talking to? I don't know. Is that John in front of me, or is that Seal? Is that this guy? I can be like squad hand checks, and everybody does one of these. If you don't do it, I shoot you in the head. Like there can be subtle things.
That's a way better version of Wiggle.
Yes, exactly.
It's a way more immersive version.
Exactly. So,
and that, you know what that reminds me of? The whole flash under.
Yeah. For sure. So the PID absolutely needs work. Factions should look different, so you should be able to zoom in on a guy and be like, oh, that's Lamong, or that's a Crimson, I'm gonna kill him. Also, there should be ways to like identify friendlies or something like that. What I will say, however, dude, the little click thing, dude, I had a few really cool experiences where we were rolling up on, because we know how bad the system is. When you see another PMC, it's really hard to tell. We were rolling up on Fort Nerith, which is like super heavily guarded, high tier AI. They have good guns and like good ammo. and I can see on the map we have 2 friendlies on the north side and we're coming in through the south side. And I found out that when you open your map, if you click on somebody, you can send them a message in game. And so I clicked on this dude's name and I messaged him and I said, yo, we've got a team of 3 coming from the south side of Fort Nerith. We're friendly. He messaged me back. He goes, oh, yo, we just killed a bunch of people. We can't take all this loot. We met up. We all looted up, and then we rolled together for like 45 minutes.
That's so sick.
Dude.
Imagine killing some people and being like, yo, anyone in my faction, if you go to E4 on the grid, there's a bunch of shit. Just go have it.
Other players then rolled up to the fort. We PvP'd all together. We split. I was sending them messages being like, guys on the north side, 131, 196. And they were like all completely emergent. I just didn't want to get team killed. So I said, yo, we're coming up from the south. They said, it was sick, dude. It was really cool. So that was something that I thought was cool. So that's kind of a little bit of that sauce, that special sauce, like emergent gameplay. I just hadn't felt that in Tarkov. And because there's opportunities for stuff like that, emergent gameplay, I like that it's not, super, outlines of all your friendlies. So you're not sure, but if you're smart about it, you can kind of be sure. And I think they need help. They need more identifiers for sure. But that's what I'm saying. Each level of the game, each facet of the game at its core has something where you're like, ooh, that's super fun, but we need, this, that, and the other. And a great example of that is the helicopter system. I think at its core, the helicopter system of traversing the map is so sick. It makes it less of a running sim. The game looks gorgeous. I think there's a lot of cool tactical stuff you can do with it. But very quickly, it was like, this needs some work, brothers. First of all of the LZs are shared, except for the ones super close to Europe. All of the LZs in the world are shared by all the factions. So,
what happens if 2 factions call it, like, this will happen, that you hit the call the LZ button at the same time, and what do they just or do they just go into each other?
They just land. I was going.
They just clip through each other. They don't crash.
It wasn't the same time. I was landing as a helicopter was taking off, and I was just watching the guy down there. And before my feet hit the ground, boom, dead.
Oh, no.
It's like, you can't, that same thing happened to me, and it was Blue Drake, okay?
You should have a way to be like, wave it off.
100%.
100%.
100%. Helicopter taking off. Blue Drake is sitting there. I'm landing, and I just start screaming and boy, please don't come in. And I jet off, and he's like, all right, bro, chill. And I was like, dude, I just want to do this quest. And he was like, all right. He was like, let's not kill you. And then I had been there for 10 seconds, and we hear another heli. And he goes, oh, this is one of my friendly ones. And I just run away because I'm going to get my task. I get my task thing, and then that guy kills me. And it was like, whatever. I wasn't mad at Blue Drake or anything, but it was just that system. Also, it was mostly content creators playing, right? So everybody was kind of playing like not scummy. I mean, Stank-Rat was absolutely camping the LZs, but you could get an LZ and then you just go, oh, I know where people need to go. And you can just run 100 meters into the bushes, sit and turn around and just wait all day for people to come in. Like you would get infinite kills, infinite gear by just sitting there, right?
And no one would see you if you were like prone in like the tree line.
No one. It's really hard to spot people in the jungle. No one. So that was immediately like, okay, this would be bad. This would be bad in a live environment where like everybody would just, because it's just a farm.
And they just drop a fucking giant, the thickest smoke grenade ever.
All sorts of stuff like that. People were thinking, it gives you a 30-second mark, like, hey, we're going to land in 30 seconds. It would be cool if it was 30 seconds to land, weapons hot, and now you could start shooting. That would help stave it off, because if you could see somebody was suggested smokes, like if they smoked out the thing, you absolutely should be able to wave off and say, I don't want to land here anymore. Even if that means you have to fly all the way back to base, it is the most defeating thing These two experiences both happened to me, and one is worse. Which one do you think is worse? All right, doing chat. I got to do this quest. Boom. You know what I mean? I'm coming here. We land. I hop off. Minute my feet hit the ground, I fall over dead. Okay, that's one experience. This is the other experience. I'm coming in on the heli, and 22 seconds before I land, I see a guy standing there, pointing his gun at me.
Bro, it's literally
and for 22 seconds, I'm just slowly descending onto him, and I die before my feet hit the ground. Which one of those experiences is worse? Knowing I'm going to die for 22 seconds is so much worse. So being able to shoot it or being able to call off the heli or something. Oh,
move.
Dude. It is.
This is exactly for those on the audio medium who don't have the video, because I didn't feel like plugging in the audio. The scene from Austin Powers where he's like fucking 60 feet in front of the steamroller, like no, and it's just
yes.
God, the kids these days know about Austin Powers.
I don't know.
I don't even know the fuck, dude.
But so that was not good. So. Once again, I think it's so sick to be able to fly around in the helicopters. I think it's so cool. You can like eat and drink and heal and do stuff. Oh, and we found out this on like day 3. You can fly from LZ to LZ. So I can go to a place, do a quest, and then just call a chopper to another quest location, and it comes from base and it picks me up where I am and it takes me to that location. Once again, you can be in the world as long as you want to be in the world. You don't even have to kind of ping pong back to base. Really solid bones on the heli system. But there were a few places where the helis are, the LZs are way too close to the points of interest. You're in the quest zone and you just hear, and we go, oh, they're coming. And we all just run up before he lands.
So is there, now here's the thing though, the way that I remember them describing the game at one point, I don't remember when, if it was when we talked tomorrow or whatever, I got the vibe that like there weren't going to be that many people in a server. So what I wonder is, was this play test, maybe they had like 100 people in 2 servers, when really when the game goes live, there's going to be 20 people for 5 servers or whatever, right?
No, I see what you mean. No, it was, they were trying to see what the experience was like live. We had servers, it was 48 players, and we had lots of servers that were full, just 48 players. Because here's the deal.
Gotcha.
So this is kind of an aside to the helicopter thing, but you were absolutely right about like, you're not going to get any PvP. Like in your first, like if you're playing for 4 hours at first, you're not going to get any PvP. I actually, and I was telling people to just like chill. Day 1, everyone was like, snooze, no PvP. And then like even some content creators were like, man, this game doesn't have PvP. And they were like running across the entire map trying to like get to PvP, and then they would die and they wouldn't want to go back. And I was like, dude, let's just wait and see. If you quested, the first like, it's basically a tutorial. It's a gradual. Your first like 15 quests are all in that close town. And if everyone on the server is doing their first few tasks, everyone is in their close town, nobody's PvPing. After, the quests start giving you farther away LZs. I need you to go to Hunter's Paradise, so it'll give you one of the 3 LZs up there. And then you have to go explore to find the other ones. So by day 3, the PvP was emergent everywhere, because I'm flying into Hunter's Paradise to do my quest. You're flying into Hunter's Paradise to do your quest. We get into a PvP fight, and it started to feel so much more emergent and better. So but that's also when it exposed some of the flaws in the system of the helicopters, because if you got there first, you just win, because you can either get to the helipad because you hear me coming, or you can just like set up in the jungle and I'm never going to find you and wait. So a lot of ideas were thrown. A lot of ideas were being thrown out. Faction specific LZs, a few throughout the map in different spots, would help, because it'd be harder to know where those locations are if you're not, or at least pinpoint them on the map. Secondly, in my opinion, at some of the things, the LZs need to be pushed farther away from the point of interest, because some of the POIs were so big that you couldn't tell when the reinforcements were coming or when the other helis. And that felt so much better, because even if they did come back, you had to kind of like find that out the hard way, but some really weren't. So I know everyone in the game was like, this is just a running sim, but you've never played DayZ. The heli system really does help, but I don't mind taking a little bit of an off LZ and then hiking in if it secures my like stealth. You know what I mean? If you don't know that I'm there. Also, I just think more LZs across the map. I want to be able to be like, yo, I'm just going to go into this random one out in the middle of nowhere. I'll make the 1,000
to kind of guarantee that you get a.
I'll make this 1,000-meter trek, but at least I know no one's going to know exactly where I am. So good bones. I think the system is sick. Being able to create multiple stops towards the end, bro. So each faction is only allowed to have 4 choppers in the air at any time. So there were times where it was like, it just kept, I was trying to go somewhere and it kept being like, it kept being like, all choppers are in the air. Negative. All choppers are in the air. And we're just like standing at an LZ. Bro, this happened several times. Then we're just standing at an LZ. We're trying to go home and turn our stuff in. All chopper, negative. All choppers are in the air. Okay, well, we're just waiting. What's this? Oh, enemy chopper. They land in front of us. We kill them. And then we get messages, spawn camping, sons of bitches. And it's like, we weren't, but we kind of were. Like, we were here. We need to leave from here. We are waiting. You landed here. And I get it. There's no way you don't think that we're just standing here camping. You know what I mean?
Imagine if the extract timer in Tarkov was like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm forced to kill you.
Exactly. People would think people were extract camping when they were just extract. So
except you're infill camping.
Yeah, exactly. And then there are times you call it and it'll be there in 6 minutes because like you're super far away from the map and all the heli spawn at base, and so you just have to sit there and wait. And so point to point, like planning routes would be better. There were many times where me and Hambino were over here. Mossy was over here. We're trying to meet up over here. Mossy has to call a heli. We have to call a heli. 3 of us have half of the faction's choppers. If we could plot a route and say, take us to Lima 1 and then to Foxtrot 2, we take 1 heli, we pick up Mossy, and then we go to where we want to go, as opposed to going over to Mossy, then the helicopter has to go back, and then you have to call another one, and then you go where you want to go, or taking 2 choppers. So some things like that, once again, the bones of it are good.
Just it seems like there's a lot of options to fix this problem.
100%, a lot of options. So like the heli, the stamina system is atrocious. The whole thing, IMO needs to be reworked. I kind of had
PTSD from not being. You now got to experience not being able to run diagonally.
Yeah.
Was that as triggering for you as it was for me?
Extremely triggering. Not being able to run diagonally is terrible. You get a debuff. You get an exhaustion debuff when you have 35% of your stamina left.
Hell yeah, dude.
Why? I don't know. That's weird. And also your hand stamina is linked to your, like they're 2 separate stamina bars. But so I did some testing. If I stand still and just wait 30 seconds and then I ADS and I hold my breath, steady aim, you have about like 8 seconds, which sounds like a long time to line up your shot. But if you run 3 feet, if you run and still have 50% of your leg stamina bar and 100% of your arm stamina bar, ADS and hold your breath, now you have 2 seconds. And so you're constantly in a battle of trying to run to cover, but then aim at an enemy. And I was actually messing around in Tarkov today. In Tarkov, when you aim without holding your breath, your aim is like this. And then you hold your breath, it steadies. In Gray Zone, if you're not holding your breath,
Yeah.
Unless you are up someone's actual butthole, you have to hold breath to engage. And if you ran at all, you have 1.5 second steady aim. So I'd run, I'd steady my aim, I'd shoot an AI with a baseball cap in the head. He would literally tank it. Now my aim is like this, and I'm trying so hard to kill this guy, and he one taps me. And I was like,
Well, that's how it was in the playtest where there was no hold breath.
yeah,
I was like, the AI standing there, like, please, God,
bro,
fuck.
dude, it's so like, in my opinion, the sway needs to be toned down. The arms, hold
But
breath.
here's the thing: they're so early
100%.
that these things can be tweaked in 5 minutes.
100%. This is not at all. This is just going through what I'm saying where like everything has good bones. It just needs to be adjusted. You're absolutely right. Like it frustrated me, but I was like, this is such an easy fix. And I don't think that they should fix it to my liking, but I just think I'm providing the feedback that it feels like dog to aim in this game. And every single person I played with, every single person was like, yeah, you can't hold your breath long enough, but you have to hold your breath because the sway is so bad. Like it's.
Did you get cucked by thinking hold breath was on shift like I did?
No, mine is on alt in Tarkov.
Oh, you disgusting fuck.
Yeah.
So the only reason mine, well, I mean, it's on shift in like every other fucking game in the world.
Yeah.
Alt was free look in PUBG.
Yeah, a bunch of games use alt as free look.
So that's why it's just always been that. But here's the thing, and I think Slush Puppy was just saying that I guess they fixed the like diagonal running thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that.
It sounds like it was he said like Unreal Engine has a thing with like inputs overriding other inputs.
Oh.
So like the D and A overrode like the W.
Oh, interesting.
I've experienced a lot of that constantly, and I'm sure this is something that they will iron out. But like in the initial playtest, one of the things that there was like, what was it? I don't remember if it was shift or what. Oh, the scroll wheel.
Oh yeah.
And the zooming in and out were like, I'd be like scoped in, and I'd go to zoom in, and it was like zoom in, zoom out.
Oh,
like I was crouching.
That's funny.
I don't remember.
In the playtest I did, control scroll wheel does do your height.
Yeah.
But without control, scroll wheel does your magnification. So that's funny. If you were hitting control, it would do both at the same time. That's funny. They did fix that.
Yeah, and I think I had it. I forget. But what I tried to do this time around too was I wanted to make hold breath shift, I think, which basically like you couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't make it work. And what I was experiencing was when you held shift, mouse 1 did nothing.
Yeah.
So I would like scope in, hit shift, mouse 1, mouse 1, mouse 1, mouse 1. Like, what the fuck is happening? Hello.
That was in the playtest, and they fixed it during the playtest. Where if you were holding shift, Nice Guy got cucked out of a crazy PvP fight because shift was sprint, and he was sprinting up, pulled the gun up, hadn't let go of shift, click, 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 dead, and he was like, what? And then they ended up fixing it. And then rebinding was, I think, broken. Like a lot of people were malding, they couldn't rebind toggle ADS, like it was hold and you couldn't change it. There were a lot of UI stuff, which once again, it's almost like it's a weird place because I don't even want to criticize the UI because it's so early in the game. Yeah, but I do want to give feedback because
these kinds of issues exist in Tarkov.
Exactly.
Still,
so it's like I want to give feedback on the UI because I don't think they should listen to me because I have an authority, but I was selected to play the game to provide feedback. So I want to provide feedback, but I don't want it to be criticism like, dude, of course the UI is bad, dude, it's an alpha. I'm saying I know that. I'm just saying here are some things that can make the UI better. Like looting was weird, where like it's got the very Tarkov grid system, and on the left is all your stuff and on the right is the enemy stuff. But on the right, it's just like none of their backpacks are open. So it's like, it's super weird because it's all squished to the right and you can't see what's in their backpack, but you don't have to like search it. You just have to double click it to open it. So like why isn't it not just all open? There's plenty of space on the screen. Just open it up so I can see, or make me search it. But having it like I have to double click each thing was kind of weird. Tab. So if you wanted to go to the map, you would hit tab and click map. If you wanted to see what was on your character, you would hit tab to see your inventory. And it always works out where if I'm trying to pull up the map quick, I'm at my character screen. And if I'm trying to grab something on my character, I'm on the map. There wasn't a dedicated button for just like, take me to my character inventory. Like I wanted to make tab always take me there. And if I want to go to the map, I click it. And then I would just like there was a bind in the game where if you press M, the mini map would come up. If you hold M, it would take you directly to map. And I was like, oh, that's sick. Now just make tab always take me to my character and we're golden. So like little stuff like that would be sick. So a lot of you.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say a lot of UI stuff, but super expected. And it didn't take me out of it. It was just like, okay, we're working on it.
I had a couple of things real quick that like one thing that is probably not necessarily for the game, but would make me a little bit more interested in it in the future. And then another thing that I think is more of a, I don't know, interesting quality of life idea. But I personally, because I've always been a lone wolf in Tarkov, I kind of wish there was a neutral faction that was just like, you're a lone wolf, everybody is an enemy.
Yeah.
I just kind of wish that was a thing. Because I don't. If I'm gonna play it, it's not necessarily going to be with the group. So apparently Rilo said it's planned to some degree. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Sure.
With that. That was just something to keep in mind, where it's like sometimes I just want to do PvP, right? Like just like in Tarkov, there were times where I don't want to do quests. I don't want to kill scabs. I just want to go and like fight people.
For sure.
So there's that. And then the other thing I was thinking was, obviously there were people complaining about like fucking helicopter simulator, as if like just watching a spinner is not
so much
is
more
not
engaging.
Watching the same like loading messages that lie to us for the last 5 years. I thought of kind of two things at once. It would be kind of cool if, imagine you die and you just call in the heli, jump on the heli, and while you're on the heli leaving the fob, you have access to your stash and can like, it would effectively be like teleporting it, but it would let you make use of the 2 minutes or whatever. Like, I want this gun and this attachment, and so you're kind of,
it'd be interesting.
You
if there
can
was like
play the game.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if there was like a little heli stash that you could store stuff in, like a kit. You know what I mean? And that way, when you're on, you can pull like one kit on, and then if you get back to base, you have to refill your little
a backup emergency kit in the trunk, right? Like, I mean, something like that could be cool, right? Because that's the equivalent of, I wish I could just access my stash while I was in the loading screen.
Yeah.
And then like at some point there's a cutoff where if you haven't clicked and dragged the gun over, then you don't get the gun, right? Like, I don't know. I think that would, I don't think the cost of the heli in terms of like it's effectively an interactive loading screen. It almost entirely negates that. So people say, what if your destination is close? You still have to equip before getting in heli. So then you do that.
Yeah.
If it's too close and you make use of this feature and you're not ready, you fucked up and you won't do it again.
No,
What happened, right?
The heli thing is so interesting because it's so dynamic. Like when we were PvPing at the northmost part of the map, people were always like, oh, heli simulator. But then nobody's saying that when we're only a 1 minute heli right away, right? So it's like, yes, it can look that way, but that's because I'm choosing to engage on the other side of the map, right? Like I could just go to Fort Nerith, which is only a 1 minute heli right away, and it's so much better or so much easier. What was I going to say? I think it had something to do with this. So part of like PvP being so weird, and when we're talking about the UI and the heli system, it definitely all came together to create like the PvP experience could be really good, but it could also be really weird with a combination of a few things that I feel like they need to work on. One, there was a lot of just going back with a knife, which is totally understandable. But some of the reason that happened was because of some game design things that could be changed. Okay, so looting feels really bad because you can't, like, if there's a backpack on the ground, like if I dropped my backpack on the ground when I was in a PvP fight and you walked up to it, you can't loot it. You have to throw your backpack on the ground and pick it up to see what's inside.
Yeah.
And this is a mistake almost every single one of these games has made. I don't know why. The Cycle did it. It pissed me off in the Cycle. Marauders did it. DMZ did it. The backpacks are too small. Now, towards the end of the playtest,
make a big purple one, dude.
Towards the end of the playtest, when we were getting max level traders, you got access to bags that I think were appropriately sized. But when I'm building up to like why the experience is so weird, so I can't loot any container that I don't have on me. The backpacks are too small for me to like get your stuff if you died. And the whole looting experience is so bad. So if you died, the best thing to do as a team is say, we'll camp your body, come back.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So if the looting experience was better, if I could like search containers faster, if I could fit more things in a backpack, it would be more fun to be able to be like, yo, this is hot. We got the guys, but I'm sure they're going to come back. We're going to grab your stuff. We're going to head south. You call in here. We'll meet up here. It was just meat grinder at the PvP location because each team would always have one or two people coming back, and each team is camping those buddies' bodies. And it was just meat grinder because there wasn't mobility because you can't take anything with you. So small backpacks, bad looting UI, not being able to loot containers on the ground. Once again, understandable. We had a great time. This is an early access thing, but that's my feedback on that, where a lot of people were like, oh, this game is lame. Everyone's just running around with a knife. And it's like, yeah, it's not just one thing. Kind of two or three things come together to create an experience where like, that's kind of the best thing to do. And so a bunch of those, I think of a few of those things got better, you would find players more naturally. Like, I'm taking your stuff, I'm stashing it at 138, 139, I'm flanking them, and I go, okay, that's a safe place, I'm coming to get it. Stuff like that. You just couldn't do any of that. It was just camping bodies. And because there's no audio, it was just a meat grinder of not hearing somebody come up. And there were several times where after like a solid hour of us three fighting the same three people, one of the squads just gave up and was like, this isn't fun, we're leaving. You know what I mean? So, but totally understanding where they are. And once again, a lot of that stuff is really easily fixable. Like searching containers on the ground, expanding the UI when looting. I personally think, once again, I don't understand why so many of these games to give such small backpacks. They are looter shooters. Like, let me loot. So stuff like that. But stuff like that was a part of that experience, kind of the meat grinder there. Now, the flip side of that is there were several times where we were in engagements, Veritas. We were in PvP fights for hours. Like day 5 or 6 of the playtest, we went to a fort to try to complete 3 quests. Me and Airwing were on the same quests. And 4 hours later, we left with our quest items. And during that 4 hours, when we would die, we'd spawn back at the base, there'd be Chads geared up, and I'd VoIP, hella PvP at Fort Nerith, they're on the north side, and 2 of the 4 would be like, oh, where's the PvP? And I'm like, dude, Fort Nerith, they're on the north side, check the map, I'm gonna go back for my gear. Then we'd all fly out on, dude, and it was just 4 hours of bliss. Of like,
that's what the fucking one of the best episodes of the podcast ever. I don't know what number it is when it was like, what could open world Tarkov be like? And we talked about if Tarkov had DayZ-esque servers to where you could basically quote unquote get in the same raid. Yeah. And it was mine and your kind of supposition that would make the game incredible,
dude.
And it sounds like
it was when it was working, when it was good, when the engagements were far enough away. They were calling in reinforcements. We were calling in reinforcements. It was like, it was really, really fun. It was engaging with other people in the squad. It always included more people. Like that's a part of
cool fucking feature. Dude.
That's a part of the X factor is the long fights never was just our people in Discord. It always culminated us engaging with other people we didn't know. Always. Because when you spawn back at base, you let people know, they come with you. I'm messaging people while we're in a fight. I see on the map that one of my dudes is coming in for a quest. I'm messaging him saying, yo, what are you here for? There's guys up there by you. He's like, oh, I'm just trying to do a quest. Come to the south with me. We'll clear up. We'll get your quest item done. Like, when it's working, bro, it feels good. And you could just spend hours. And once again, if you don't like the PvP, at any moment, you could just leave, bank your loot, and go do a different quest. I'm not saying this through the lens of like, you need to enjoy PvP to have fun. What I'm saying is the point is you can do whatever you want and have fun at any given time and always be in the video game. And in the moments where we wanted to PvP, it felt so damn good to be able to just engage in that fight. We were fighting Pestily, Smitty, and Sequisha for just hours and hours and hours. And it was really fun. So really cool stuff like that. Dude, we raided a base. So, dude,
do we want to take a break before we get into that?
That's a great call. That is a great call. There's a few more things, a few more really cool gray zone things we want to break down. But before we do, I do want to take a quick second and thank the second and final sponsor of this episode, and that is Factor Meals. Every fresh, never frozen meals, chef prepared, dietitian approved, and ready in 2 minutes. They are a meal delivery service that are pre-prepared meals, heat up in 2 minutes, extremely convenient. Once again, I say this all the time. It's so nice, especially if you work from home, if you're working a lot, if you don't just want to get up in the middle of the day and prepare lunch. You know, as a streamer, I don't want to go sit in the kitchen for 30 minutes while the stream is running. Being able to have not a hot pocket, you know what I mean? Like real food ready in just a few minutes that's balanced and delicious is very nice.
Dude, absolutely. It was actually really nice to be able to come back from vacation and like not have any like, you know, didn't have any food in the refrigerator, and you open up the freezer and it's like, oh shit, we have like half a dozen Factor meals sitting ready. It's incredible just to have like convenient, easy to make, well balanced, healthy meals that are taste good and don't require you know, like a Gordon Ramsay masterclass to make, because I'm lazy and I'm bad at cooking. So yeah, cannot stress enough how convenient it is.
And convenient in like the logistics of it too. There's calorie smart options, keto options, protein plus, vegan or veggie. So you can choose what type of food you want coming. There's over 60 add-ons that you can choose from. They've sent us like little wellness shots that are really delicious. Their smoothies are like so good. So you can, and then there's all sorts of like premium picks like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle, butter, broccolini, all sorts of stuff. So it's simple, it's convenient. You have the power to skip a week, do extra meals this week, do less meals this week. What type of meals do you want? Tailored to your schedule, super customizable. So it's a fast, quick solution. You can head to factormeals.com/pogcast50 and use code POGCAST50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box. That's code POGCAST50 at factormeals.com/pogcast50. 50% off your first box, 20% off your next box while your subscription is active. Thank you so much to Factor for sponsoring this episode. So
one thing I got to say real quick before you get to the thing, we can get this out of the way, is I have to say that even though I wasn't playing during the playtest, I was keeping up on Twitter with Mara. Mara's communication.
Yep.
And by itself, it's a wonderful thing, right?
Yep.
But in the contrast of what we've been saying with Tarkov, which is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Dropping the ball so badly, communicating with the community. And then you have him tweeting like every fucking 15 seconds, hey, we saw this issue, we're fixing it, we're on it, blah, blah, blah. Liking fucking all these responses, taking feedback, responding.
Explaining, this is why the AI spongy. There's a problem with their, like.
Now here's the thing. This is, if Mara's listening, from me to you personally, what your communication, top tier. But you can't do that for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So what you want to try to figure out is how you can keep up the quantity and quality.
Yes.
To a meaningful degree that doesn't drive you fucking nuts.
Yes.
To the point where you're having like a manic drug-fueled mental breakdown on Twitter and the entire community turns on you.
You don't want to be the guy. You don't want to be the only place where people think they can get valuable information. That's too much for one person. Gray zone warfare through you and through other people that are working on these issues should be a place that's not a person, but through gray zone that can keep
offload that to people whose
100%,
job it is.
That quality and that quantity and that level of transparency. So yeah, I agree with that. It's perfect. Just shift that off of just you, because that's not a good idea. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with that. But anyways, dude, it was like day 3. This got so out of control. Okay, here's the deal. Hutch, Landmark, Willers, Clean, Fuglet, a bunch of people, they're all on Sheaf, they're all on Crimson. Okay, Crimson. And we were on Mithras. And all day, I was pulling 13-hour streams. All day we were fighting Landmark and Hutch and all those people all over the map. We're doing quests. We're constantly running into these guys. And we're back at base, and Gino was there, and we weren't even rolling with Gino all day. And Gino's like, dude, all day these mother flipping Crimson scum been wiping me. And it just kind of slowly progressed and slowly built. And then Gino just ended up in this like Braveheart moment where he's like, F those guys are the worst. And I go, we should go raid them. And someone's like, you can do that? And I was like, we should go find out. And like 14 people in VoIP were like, let's freaking go raid them. So we called.
This is like, who's the guy that we watched? What the fuck's his name on the DayZ? The JLK.
JLK.
That feels like a JLK story, dude.
And so we're like, all right. And J Bebe was there and Gino was there. And we were like, can we even do this? And we legitimately didn't know. We had no idea. In the safe zone, if you and me are on the same faction, you're invulnerable to me. I can shoot you in the head an infinite amount of times and you won't die. The AI are invulnerable. So we were like, I don't even know if we can kill people, but let's do it. So we called 4 helis to the closest LZ. All of them were full. Okay. The closest LZ is 50% of the way there. So then we had to walk 4 kilometers or whatever. We all get to the LZ. The last helicopter lands, game crash. We all end up back in the same server.
All of you crash?
Yeah, server crash. Sorry, server crash.
Okay.
We all end up back in the same server, and we were like, we got to go. So we all go back, we land, and we start our hike. We're hiking up, server crash. We all log back in, but we all log back in the same spot we're in. And we go, let's keep going. So then we walk up another kilometer, dude, server crash. And every time it's like...
You guys getting close must have been crashing the server.
I don't know. And every time it was just sunken cost fallacy. We're like, well, we made it this far. Let's keep trying. And then, well, we made it this far. Let's keep trying. 4 crashes later, I think 13 of the 16 members ended up at the base. At the Crimson base, we're skirting the west side of it. We've all got scopes. We're looking in and we're going, what do we do? I was 100% under the impression that we would shoot and the AI would just like bird eye us and we would all fall over dead. like the boundary sniper where you can't avoid.
Yeah.
I was 100% sure that was gonna happen. Okay, dude, the clip.
Weird. That would be like the last thing I would expect.
The clip is great. We're all standing there going like, what do we do? And Airwing has an M700 and he scopes in and he sees 4 of them all just clumped up together because they're talking PMCs. And he just goes, bang. One of them drops. We just hear the shot and we hear Airwing start to giggle. And we're like, and he's like, we can kill him. And just from the bushes, 13 people start opening fire into this base. We're killing the AI. We're killing players. And they're just, and we're like, what do we do? And there's only one entrance.
That seems incredible, but also terrible.
Dude, it's, there's only one entrance in and out of the base, and there's a minefield around the other. So I was like, okay, I need a strike team with me. We have to go in. Like, what do we do now? We move around. We kill all the AI. 10 of us walk through the front door of their base, and we're clearing. I mean, there were PMCs with gear on back in the corners. We clear it. We go into the little thing. We go on the roof. And then it just hits us all at the same time. When you die, where do you spawn?
Right there, naked. You just hard lock
Dude,
them.
It hit us like a ton of bricks. Dude, the emotional roller coaster of there's no way this is going to work. There's no way. Oh my God, it's working. Oh my God, it's working. We won. This is hilarious. This is the most toxic thing I've ever done in my life. I just start over VoIP. I'm like, abort. We did what we came to do. This is so toxic.
You all should have just jumped off the roof.
Dude, literally, it was just them spawning naked, falling over dead. And we were like, I was screaming over VoIP. I was like, we have to go. This
like Modern Warfare 2 demolition.
This
is what that sounds like.
awful. So we all pull out and we're just basically standing outside of their base laughing, not knowing what the hell happened. And this streamer handler, he like hops on and it's so cool because he posted his clip. He was such a G about it because some people were VoIPing at us like, Jesus Christ, I hope you guys are having fun. And we were like, oh, like, I get it. Like, we should leave. What a dude. Gee, he pops on and like, I think he said something. He was like, oh, they're trying to raid us, right? Man puts on a kit, flies out and like wipes us all. We're just sitting there with our hands up our butts because we don't know what to do because we didn't expect to win. And dude, he just like clears out and he just destroys us all. And he posted the clip and it was like, I was like, bro, GG's. Like, that was so fun. But I had no expectation. I had resigned that kit. I had no expectation that was going to work, and it did. And we just destroyed this base because, and so it was like, it was brutal. People were mad. It was so funny, dude, because it kind of became, internet drama. Oh, is this the clip of? Oh, well, that's part of it.
Is this the before? Or
this
the
is
after?
the before. This is the before. I don't know if he just linked like a time in the VOD.
No, it's a clip. It must be. They probably need the audio.
Yeah, and that was the before. We were just walking around. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh, it became like Twitter drama. Like Big Fry tweeted out us just like wasting them in the live, and he was like, "Thanks at JesseKazam for the clip," and I was like, okay, like and he was like, what do we think about? Oh yeah, dude, this is all of them just sitting there, bro. Boom, and he just crumples one. And then you see all the other shots fly in and everybody just starts scurrying around when they realize what happens. It was so crazy.
Pretty fucking hilarious. The helicopter.
Dude,
oh
helicopters
God,
like dropping people off. Somebody posted their clip from their perspective. They were like, why are people dying? It took them like a long time to realize. Anyways, so it like became Twitter, not drama, but people were like, this shouldn't be able to do it. And we were like, bro, the way I put it was, this is a playtest.
God. Yeah, it's so not like, oh no,
I know.
45 seconds of whatever to discover an entirely broken thing that someone would have to discover anyway.
That's
it's
what
funny.
I said. I was
Shut
like,
up.
I was like, if you don't think that in a live environment, the team that did that wouldn't sit there for 2 hours just spawn camping you, like, you're crazy. We all were like, this is toxic. We gotta go. That would not have gone that way in a live environment. So, and I'm not even saying Big Fry was making drama about it. He was just like, what do you think? And then people were like, oh my God, this was so, and I was like, ugh, like, I don't know about that. Anyways, it was hilarious. And they ended up changing the AI during the playtest to have better gear, better guns, better armor, and way more of them. We tried to raid bases 2 additional times and we couldn't because there were just so many of them and they just kept icing us.
What I was gonna say is it would be cool if, like, imagine there were turrets like you have at the fucking water base, the water treatment plant, right? And imagine if, like, they started shooting at you, like when you do the initial contact, they start shooting at you, but like not necessarily have a high chance of hitting you.
Yeah.
And what that does is it's the alarm bell for any PMCs on the inside. And then as time goes on, their accuracy goes from 1%, 2%, 2%, 3% to where it progressively gets harder and harder and harder. So what you have to do is go in there, kill people who weren't prepared or ready or whatever. And then, but even then, it's tough,
it's
right?
Weird because the thing is, we answer the question, can you do it? What question hasn't been answered by the game is, why would you do it? Because a few things.
Can you go in?
All the way in. But here's the thing, like I said, a few things. The looting in the game is so bad and it takes so long to loot anything and you can't fit anything in your backpack and they're spawning. They're spawning and have access to their stash. So if you're looting, they spawn, pull a gun on, boom, you're dead because the looting is so cumbersome. A. B, this is the biggest thing. If you die, your body is there. You respawn. If you die again, this body despawns because now this is your body. So you kill everyone, they all respawn. If you kill them while they're naked, there's no loot on the ground. You've despawned it all.
It's solely a trolling mechanic, which it almost seems like they need to make it so that there's no vantage point from outside, inside, like cover the whole thing except for where the helicopter is. And then there shouldn't be any hills or mountains where you can look down and the walls need to be high enough. Like something like that would kind of make it so that you can't.
Yeah.
And then add an invisible wall or whatever. Like it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
But something would need to change to make it
just
work.
Left us wondering, why would you do it? If you heard in the global chat that people were coming to raid your base, the best thing to do would just be log off or leave, like heli out, because then you're not losing anything. And then so I said what they did was they changed it so the AI was super, they had better gear and guns. Here's the deal. You know what that did? That made us want people to raid us. 2 separate times we died and like we died out, we were out doing a PvP fight, right? We died, I spawned back at base and the guy at base goes, we just got raided. There's 42 AI on the ground with meta M4s, meta armor, 60 round mags of 5.5A1. And you're in your stash. So you would literally pick up a gun, put it in your stash, pick up a gun, put it in your stash, pick up an armor, put it in your stash. So then you wanted to get raided because the AI, 2 or 3 times the last 2 days, there was just 40 AI on the ground with meta gear. So it was super weird. So like if you raid somebody, you basically just like give them everything. It's super weird. So I don't know what they want to do with that. They very clearly were like totally fine with us testing it out. They wanted to know. But I don't know what you would do with that mechanic. You know what I mean? I don't know. A few quick things. There was some stuff like questing, bro. It's so funny. I heard a lot of people be like, I was hoping for much more engaging quests. And I was kind of like, what could that look like? Like,
I didn't even know what any of the quests are past the first one.
In a game like this, I'm not expecting bespoke voice acted cinematics quests. So it's kind of just like go kill stuff, Go get
Go
stuff.
somewhere, collect a thing, kill
Go
a thing.
find stuff.
It's the same problem that Tarkov has and has always had.
But, dude, I completed, there were like 150 quests. I completed like 80 of them. Dude, 40% of them use instanced quest items. So many of them. It was so great. Go get a thing, and if you have the quest, it's there. And you can put it in your secure container, and if you die, you can get back at base and you can still turn it in. Or there were some ones where it was like, take this thing from base and go plant it somewhere. And if you had the quest, it would spawn at the base, but it wouldn't spawn for anybody else. So we've talked about that for a long time, where the instanced quest items was such a good thing. Go find the golden pocket watch, go find this thing. And a lot of the quests were like that, and it was kind of cool. So the AI needed a lot of work. They were very, very, very tanky. Literally 4, 5, 6 headshots, baseball caps, nothing, and they would just turn and one tap you, which is just PTSD from Tarkov, right? PTSD. It was super weird. It felt like their hitboxes got weird if they were moving. This happened to me more times than I can count. 2 AI are standing still. I shoot one in the head, he dies. The other one gets alerted and starts moving. While that other one's moving, I shoot him in the head 7 times, and he doesn't die. And it just felt like it has to be when they're in motion, their organs or whatever just get like, it just had to be. It happened an unreasonable amount of times. But they were, I mean, they addressed it. They said they were working on it. They said they, were looking into some of the issues. The medical system is crazy with like the organs and the blood loss and all that kind of stuff. It was super, it's a little unintuitive at first, but obviously so is Tarkov's. The more you learn it, like towards the end, I was really starting to get, oh, okay, this is that. I got it.
Nice.
There's a built into the game, if you hold H, you can scroll through all of the different medical items that you have in your pockets and then select it. If you hold G, you can scroll through all the nades you have in your pockets, select which one you want to do. If you hold P, you can select all the provisions you have and select which one you want to eat. I was like, beautiful.
Yep.
It was great. So, that's kind of it. Obviously, each individual thing, like I said, that's the TLDR for me, is every single part of this game needs work. If they had released it tomorrow, I honestly don't know if I would go back right away, because I grinded through the quests, I grinded up the levels, and the game needs work. It needs time in the oven. But it has something. They might not, like, there's always a chance they fumble the bag, right? There's always a chance that they don't deliver, but
No, dude, no one ever in this genre, everything always succeeds. Everything always lives up to its
keeps
promises.
their word.
Everybody keeps their word.
Yeah.
So
I think it went as good as it could have gone, as far as like showing off the game's potential. A lot of people had criticisms. A lot of the criticisms were founded, and the devs were even like excited to hear the criticism, right? So it was good. I'm excited. We don't have any word on early access yet, or even the price of the game, but I'm really hoping like they have something special. I'm really hoping that they keep up with it. You know what I mean? So that.
So what are you streaming tomorrow?
I think PUBG with Hambino.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Hashtag boycott Tarkov.
Yeah. I don't think I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, people, we didn't talk about that, and I don't really want to talk about it, but like, today was the most, like, today was the worst content creator day I've ever had.
This is the day that you get the box, you put your clothes in the box, you leave the ring on the table, and you get in your car.
I was told 1,000 times today how much of a piece of shit I am for buying the edition. But I didn't. And if you had eyeballs, like I didn't have the big pockets. I didn't have the blue, but I was told all day that I'm a piece of shit. I was told I was a garbage human being for playing the game and supporting the devs. It was.
Oh, pocket check. Now I know why people were saying pocket check
pocket
earlier.
check.
I get it
Like
now.
it was the worst, bro. It was the worst. And I mean, I spent 6 hours shitting on this whole thing and saying that it was garbage. And then somebody would come in and be like, people would be like, so you're not even going to talk about it? Like, that says a lot about you.
Bro, the internet is cursed. Humanity is fucked.
I was the sad, like, I don't know. I mean, I know people are going to friggin', I mean, you probably, if you hate me, you're probably not watching 2 hours and 45 minutes into the podcast. But I was the saddest I've ever been ending the stream today. I ended an hour early. I literally jumped off a roof in Tarkov, killed myself, and ended the stream. Like, so it's like, if you want to boycott Tarkov, I get that. I'm not saying I think you have to. I'm not saying I think you shouldn't. I don't know where I stand on it. I'm not saying that I'm not playing Tarkov until they roll this shit back, but I'm also not saying I'm going to. What I'm saying is I don't know, and that I ended the stream really sad. And so I was like, well, so I DM'd Ham, and I was like, bro, you're an old PUBG pro. You want to teach me PUBG tomorrow? He's like, yeah, sure. I was like, so.
If at any point, like, now would be the better time than ever, if you want to hop on Helldivers.
Oh, so
because
true.
I kind of made the decision to like not play until you're ready to play.
Yeah,
and everybody wants me to play.
So true, dude.
It's all on your shoulders.
Now is the time.
You know what, dude? I have so much respect that you admit how unethical you are and how that's an inside joke between me and Jesse. I have so much respect for you. My opinion has changed of you that you finally made it clear how much of a piece of shit you are for having bought.
You're such a piece of garbage. But big ups, man. Props. I couldn't do it.
Total respect, bro. Holy shit.
Oh, man.
You know what? Here, someone in chat said it, and this is kind of like what I was thinking. I kind of feel like almost the entire Tarkov community has been needing to like rip the Band-Aid off of their content creator career to fucking step out of the box that they've done very well in Tarkov. Yeah. At some point, they're gonna have to move on, right? And it's like I kind of feel like BSG made it easy for a lot of people. Yeah. They kind of ripped the Band-Aid off for a lot of content creators. And all I can say is, as someone who ripped the Band-Aid off a while ago, it stings, but it's
better on the other side.
It's going to be incredible. I'm predicting now how many people a month, 3 weeks, 8 weeks from now are going to be tweeting. How many of the content creators are going to be tweeting, wow, holy fuck, my mental health is so much better now that I've been out of Tarkov land. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Mark my words, something like that's going to happen.
I believe it.
So I'm actually like, not that I want the game to die, I'm sure a lot of people they're going to move on in a month from now. A lot of people, it'll be business as usual and they'll be playing the game and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
People, you shouldn't expect or try to hold people to fucking boycotting the game. Like, whatever. Like, it's live your own fucking life.
Yeah.
But I kind of am in a weird way, a little bit happy.
Yeah.
That I feel like this is kind of going to be the impetus for some people to come off of meth.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And yeah, like I said, that doesn't mean I am like in the stance that I'm boycotting them forever. Like I said, we didn't even talk about, and we don't have time to. We're 3 hours in, but we didn't even talk about all of the changes that were made. They fixed the crouch walk audio bug. They finally made changes to the headphones. The headphones, like the distance, they flattened that out. They reduced inertia. They did all these things, and it's like that. What they're finally doing to address the game, plus this wipe, really means in certain ways the game is more fun to play. But so it's like, of course, part of me hopes that I wake up tomorrow and they're like, we're rolling it back, we're refunding everyone, and I know that's not going to happen, but because it's so cooked right now, I do think it will be the impetus for a lot of people to go branch out a little bit and do some variety, which is terrifying for me because I've been trying to build up the courage to do that for a long time. I've been playing. It's funny. He's in chat. I've been playing some DayZ with Trey. The Gray Zone week, I did a whole week without Gray Zone, and it was good and it was fun. And I've been trying to build up to it. And so it's definitely scary because this is like way quicker of a Band-Aid rip than I was hoping, like months and months of like, weaving in a little variety. But it'll be, I think.
Hey, Voldemort just came in and zapped everybody's parents, and now they're on their own.
Yeah.
It's time to go to the entire Tarkov community. You're a wizard now.
You're a wizard now.
You're a wizard, Harry, and welcome to fucking Hogwarts.
Yeah. So, that is the stuff. Big, long, fatty podcast for you this week. But hopefully that makes up for missing one last week. It's going to be spicy potatoes. Honestly, because of everything that's going on, I'm thinking about editing this and maybe even just throwing it up like tomorrow morning or something, getting it up. I know people want to see our reactions, and I would like a place to point people and say, if you want to know how I think about it, go watch there, because it is just impossible if I'm in Discord with a homie and I'm talking and I'm playing a game and this, that, and they're like, what do you think about the BSG situation? It's like, it's too nuanced. So I would love to be able to just be like, just watch the first hour of the podcast, man.
And I've never been so ready to not read the comments of a video in my entire life.
Yes. Yes.
That'll be a fucking city I never visit.
Yeah, I never visit, bro. Dude, did you see? I sent you the screenshot from the last podcast we posted. The first comment was like, all I know is I hope that the Gray Zone devs don't listen to a single thing Jesse has to say. I screenshotted it and sent it to V, and it had like 40 upvotes, and I was like, God damn, what did I say? It was just so funny because I that was why you said there was like the Athletic Greens ad, the timestamp was the whole thing.
It was the whole thing.
So
Someone was like, wow, it's like a 2-hour ad.
Oh shoot. So I went to go fix it and I clicked on the podcast, and how it shows one comment first and you have to click, it was that comment. So I didn't even go there to read the comments. It was the first one, and I was like, God damn, bro. It was funny. But anyways, so thank you guys. Thank you for hanging. Thank you for being a part of the podcast fam. If you like this type of content and want more fun, spicy conversations about life, science, aliens, religion, whatever, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/thepogcastpod. And it's pretty lit over there. So go check that out. I'll probably try to get this episode out pretty quickly. Normally, the Patreons get early access to these episodes. But you guys are the best. You guys are the real ones. Thank you so much for hanging. Thank you to Factor and to MeUndies. And we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Peace.